statement is the grosser the hobo, the bigger the and it is shockingly accurate. Like you can just see someone and they're covered in and like
yeah, and it's like the
doing
longer
something.
they've been there, the bigger the too,
Yeah.
because it's always the grimiest ones.
Yeah, it's a very statistically relevant thing. Where you'll just see some guy doing just something he should not be doing in the street, and you're just like, we had one, my buddy, there was this guy, like there's an engine in a truck, like the engine has the water and the hoses, the truck has the ladder.
Right.
And the engine made a run on like a welfare check, and there was just this guy in the middle of the road f***ed up on drugs, and he was just cranking this thing. And it was just impossibly big. Like homeless guy on K2 or something, PCP.
He gets to stay, man. That's
just laying on the sidewalk, just a two-hander, just...
And it's always slow, too.
You know,
like they're always at a slow pace.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
You can only describe it as gnarled. You know? Like an old tree has like things growing off of it. It's barnacled.
it looks like one of those people with an amputee nub.
Yeah. Fucking the engine was almost like, we should call the truck out for this. He was like, Cap's going to want to see this.
Exactly, just so they can see it.
Yeah. Can you turn these down?
Oh, yeah. With that, we also turn mine up, too, like, a little bit. Just there we go. That's perfect.
Good now.
Sweet.
Yep.
Welcome to another episode of the Dingbat District on 4th of July week. This one's going to be a very fun episode. We've got a very interesting comedian that I can't wait to get to talk to. Y'all, please give it up for Jimmy Nelson.
Thank you so much. I feel like that was like a comedy club intro, and it's odd with no like clapping after it.
Right, yeah.
Give it up for there. Thank you.
Yeah,
there
it's
we
been
go.
a long time since you've done open mics, I'm assuming.
No, I do open mic still.
Oh, I know you
they're
do open
less
mics.
so.
Yeah, but you're not going
Oh,
out to
not like
the Monday nights.
The Monday night. Those were terrible. We had one called Houston Street that
I've
used
heard dark tales about that
Dark
once.
Tales. It was just a nightmare of an open mic. And it was, for some reason, I've lived in Dallas the entire time I've done comedy. And I started like in Fort Worth and Denton almost exclusively.
Right.
Because Denton had more of a scene then. And I don't know why. I just drove every day just to go to an open, and you go bomb at Houston Street where there's just this bartender that was like an old drunk. And then there was like two guys that were there all the time.
Right.
And then you'd get convention people in because it was in downtown. And so every now and then,
You'd actually get a crowd.
but it would be first come, first serve on the sign up.
Oh, yeah.
So 3 people show up and just fucking eat a just off-putting jokes from someone that's going to
man.
quit in 6 months.
I don't know what it is, but everyone needs to stop trying with that type of humor for a little bit.
There was this guy, Nick something, where he did a joke, and he wasn't very funny, but he did a joke where he said the N-word, and he was a very white fella. And there was two...
Very white fella.
It was like Jasmine and Dee Dee were like in the like on the list,
Yeah.
and just lit into him, and so it turned into him just like having a roast done on him because he said the N-word, and everyone just like a record scratch. It was just like, what?
It's the automatic light, babe.
And then
You're
everyone
done.
just started going in on him, and it was fantastic.
It's so funny.
The worst is they would it was on Mondays,
Yeah.
and so sometimes the Cowboys game would be on during that time of year, and they'd have this big projector screen, and then when it was time for it to start, they would just mute the game. And so those are always the biggest crowds because there's like 12 people. They're like, hey, let's go to the bar down the street to watch the Cowboys game.
Let's look up at a muted TV while this guy's trying his best
While
to
they do
talk at us.
open mic comedy. And I was terrible too, but you're just like, oh man, like you thinking back on those, and we'd like double dip. There was like a punk club down the street that you could do both shows in a night.
Oh, yeah.
Or what was that other place? They were in, I forgot what they're all called.
There was one out there called, like, wasn't the smokestack out there?
I don't remember the smokestack. This was it was also a music open mic, which that's a thing I don't do anymore, which is nice, of the anything goes open mic.
Yeah.
And it was like a punk club, so like you had 15-minute sets.
Oh, God.
So a band could get up there, play a few songs. It was mostly acoustic guitar acts and stuff.
Right.
And then you'd go up and do comedy for like 3 people on like a 4-foot tall stage. And there's like, what is this? This is not what I signed up for.
Yeah. I've told this story before, but when I first started, the first few shows that I just grasped was a a lineup full of rappers and 4 comics.
Oh.
And
why people think that's a good idea is beyond me.
And us not first in a place with it was at the Haltom City Theater.
Oh,
so
the comedy's got to go first.
Yeah, the comedy's got to go first.
You just think of the energy.
Yeah, not last. That was my biggest thing is, fine, we're not first, but you can't put us last. Literally, we'll be talking to the sound guy. That's it. No one's going to be here. And it was just my grandma came and I didn't know she was coming.
Oh, that's a nightmare.
Yeah.
I don't post shows anymore unless I want you to come to them.
Yeah, I needed to be better about that.
Yeah, man, because it's also you've been doing it 18 months, something like that.
Around.
Just do it in silence.
Yeah.
Just do it in silence. Every now and then, I had a big thing where Hyenas used to have a progression where you did the open mics, you got up at 1 a.m. And it was a nightmare, and then you wrote a couple good jokes, you worked up the lineup, and then Butch was the guy in charge of it all, and he's a crazy person.
I've heard a couple
and
stories
so
about Butch.
I used to you could snag a weekend every now and then because Butch would lose his phone all the time because he always just had burners. And it's hey, I lost everyone's numbers.
What
he was
a comedy club manager.
He was message me if I gave you a weekend. I think you booked me on the 18th.
I think you booked me for the next few months.
I don't know.
That's just what you said.
I don't know what happened. But and then you do these Butch Lord showcases, which turned into a fucking debacle. Because at the beginning they were 8 people, a showcase, and it's all new people. I was 6 months in, and but I had it was my first time ever announcing doing a show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I'm sure if I had the recording of it, I'd be ugh, what the oh no.
Yeah.
And
the number one thing about having a podcast is so often I have to go,
why
what
did
am
that
I doing?
Why did that happen? But
Blake, why did you let me talk for 15 minutes?
But I had 40 people come out because they were oh, Jimmy's doing comedy. That's neat. But because I had so many people come out, they were oh, well, you can do another one. And then I did another one, and then got a MC real quick.
Right.
So
yeah, I've had that where you have your parents tell your aunts and uncles and stuff.
Oh God,
and then they come to the wrong one. You're no, you were supposed to come next Saturday. This is in a closet.
Yeah.
In a shared space.
I
in a
had
music studio.
2 friends come out, my neighbors. He was also a groomsman at my wedding. Mark and Taylor, his wife. They were oh, are you doing any shows in the next couple days? And I was yeah, I got one. And Mana.
Yeah.
Mana's a great friend, and she runs Claws Out, and they do a bunch of good shows.
Shout out to Claws Out. They've got a show coming up here pretty soon. I can't remember
Hop
the name
and
of it,
Sting, I believe.
Yeah, at Hop and
Yeah,
Sting.
John Brown's headlining it.
Oh yeah, that's who I was talking to about it. We're doing softball together. So
nice.
I got stuck talking to John. That happens all the time. You get stuck talking to John, and you get
cracky
listening.
John.
I love John to death.
John's a great dude.
He's the best about actively making me come back into a conversation on my own accord.
Oh yeah.
I'm walking back into my car, and then he says something no, I gotta figure that out. I gotta find out what the he means by that.
You just gotta walk away. That's what it is. Where it's and the time is, I have to go do a thing.
It's been 15 minutes.
I got your allotted time. I have to go do something.
A therapist, our time is up. I'll see you next week.
I do that before shows where I like going over notes and taking 15 minutes to myself and just looking over stuff, thinking about what I want to do. And there's always, and it's fun to getting the blood flowing of talking to people.
Yeah.
And then of just I think most people understand it of just the rude end of and I'm gonna go stand 5 feet further away from you
and not look at you one time
and do something else.
Well, it's the worst when people don't realize it.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
just keep on going. It's
There's a lot of tism floating around the comedy community.
And you see, there's a lot of good and bad with it, too, because there's a lot of people that don't stop talking, and then you learn just how to leave a conversation halfway through by watching them.
You just got to go.
Yeah. I've at fault a couple times that just made them turn away, and I'm not upset. I'm just in awe. Wow, that was incredible.
John Brown gave me a layup one time where it was the last time my dad saw me perform.
Okay.
After he passed away.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It was a couple years ago, but I was hosting for Chris Porter.
Oh yeah.
Which I featured for him a couple months ago. I'm going to Houston with him in 2 weekends. The 27th and 29th, I'll be with Chris Porter at the Houston Improv.
Awesome, man. That's awesome.
So that'll be fun. But I was hosting, and John was featuring.
Right.
And John had the crackiest tale of all. He no-showed the first show.
Right.
Because he was like, man, everyone's like, he, got lost in the woods and like couldn't find his car. And he was like, man, I took a couple Xanax. Like everyone's acting like I'm f***ed up as he's like slurring his words.
Does he have a bit about this?
I don't know.
Because I feel like I've heard it and I don't know if it's been told at me or I
think
watched
this
it on
is
stage.
just not an uncommon occurrence with John. Again, good dude. Love John.
If you met John, like if he told you his name was Skeeter, you'd be like, "Yep,
Yep,
yeah."
he's a skeeter.
He's a Skeeter, Cooter, something like that. It all works. Sling blade.
That's what his mom just looks at him and goes, mm-hmm.
Yeah, mhm.
But and so they had me like, they were like, hey, I think John's not coming. And he's like, so you just do like 35 up top, and then Chris will finish it. I think it was 30.
Yeah, your 5 minutes, add 30 more to it.
Yeah. Which was like, I had the time at the
that's
at that time. This is like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
And
Just thinking if someone said, do 30 more.
no, oh no, I've had that happen when I didn't have it. Oh no, like but then John shows up for the late show and like does the late show and just blows his time. Like they're giving him like the fucking airport lights to get off. And he's
doing his 2 shows worth of time.
Yes, it was just why you don't do shows f***ed up. And he was like, why does everyone think I'm f***ed up? It's because you're slurring your words. You no-show to first show. You're acting like an idiot. Yeah.
Because we can audibly see that you were f***ed up.
Everyone has eyes and ears. That's why they think you're f***ed up.
You've been stuttering back and forth this whole time. You haven't stood still yet.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's... I love it. He was a blessing to have at softball practice last night, too, because for an old man, he's got some twitch speed.
Does he?
Yeah.
I believe it.
He's got some... he's an outfielder still to this day.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious just watching
I could see
him.
John being a baseball player in high school.
Dude, he's still a baseball.
Yeah.
I hit one that I thought was
The
gonna
last
hit
time a
car,
father figure paid attention to him was high school baseball.
and he never gave it up.
He never gave it up.
But
This is Talking John Brown podcast. Which I really do love the guy. He's a good dude.
that's why we're talking about, because he's the best.
Exactly.
But I hit one on a line drive that could have easily taken out someone's car window, and then out of nowhere, John Brown just dives for it, just head over, just ass over elbows, perfect catch. I'm like, what? Dude, it's a Monday night, man. We're at a park. Like
laying out at a softball game too is.
I was already getting out my wallet to write a "sorry, this is my phone number" note for their window, and he just saved the day.
Man, I'm 30. How old are you? I'm 34.
I'm 23.
Okay, different. I have hit the I'm not an old man, but my fragility has been exposed a few times.
Yeah.
Or like one of my knees hurts when it's cold. I got a I dislocated my shoulder a couple years ago, and it's like been weird since.
Same here.
Where it's like I'm not laying out at a softball game. Like,
No.
you got to stand up triple. I'm proud of you.
I told them from day one, like, I'm playing first, I'm not throwing a ball, and I'm not diving for anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get mad if y'all don't do anything.
Yeah,
either.
that's fine. We're
We're
here to
here
have
for
fun.
fun. Yeah.
Beer league.
Yeah. Beer league, I signed us up for the company league, so we're playing fat accountants, hopefully.
Hell yeah.
And it's on Monday nights.
Unless they got the Simpsons ringer team. Ken Griffey Jr. walks out.
Yeah, I joined one of those leagues last year.
Yeah.
And the guy that started the team didn't know there were subdivisions to team, so we joined every 45-year-old drunk tryhard.
Oh, yeah.
League. And like this, there was one team that beat everyone by 15 runs. Mercy ruled them every time.
Yeah.
And it's because they had one guy that was literally named Bubba. Bubba showed up to every game in jorts and their team uniform cut off sleeves.
Yeah.
And they warned us about Bubba immediately, and they said, if you say anything bad about Trump, he's been kicked out of 2 softball leagues for breaking kneecaps.
I like that the league doesn't give you a full-on suspension. They're just like,
full-long suspension.
you got to get out of here, Bubba.
You just like,
hey, we told you not to do this the last 3 times.
He's
You
like
cut it
Mongo
out.
from Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
It's just big and dumb. You're like, we can't stop him.
Dallas Fireman.
Really?
Mongo from Blazing Saddles. Dallas Fireman.
shit.
Fun fact.
That one's
Write
always
that
so
down.
weird. Steve Buscemi, too. When I found that out, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
really? Steve Buscemi of all
Yeah,
people?
FDNY. But we have a Dallas Fire baseball team,
Oh, really?
which cracks me up. I love going to the games. They play at like the Rough Rider Stadium
That's
up in
fucking
Frisco
cool.
because they play they played Chicago Police a few months ago.
That's awesome.
Whooped out of them.
Why is this
They
not something
played-
we hear about?
They played FDNY like a week or 2 ago. Didn't go so well.
Oh,
Which is just it's like a big high school versus small high school.
Yeah.
Like we have like 2,000, 2,100 firemen, and like it attracts athletes a lot of times. It's a
Right.
good retirement hole for an athlete. You get the locker room feeling and all that.
That's exactly what I was
And it's physical, and it's like a lot of athletes join the fire department. And so all of our guys like played college, whether big or small.
Right.
Or like a couple guys had a little stint in the minors.
They're just dudes, every single one of them.
Yes. But then like FDNY has, 20,000, 40,000. I don't know how many they have.
They've got Sandy Koufax somehow.
It's 10 times the city. I'd imagine they have at least 20 to 40,000 firemen.
Right.
So like they got guys that did a little stint in the pros. And we have this guy, Michael Skoog, hell of a fireman.
It's a hell of a name.
He's got a little belly on him.
Yeah, right.
And he walks out there and just jacks one. And then he waddles to first, and they pull him out and put a runner in for him. So he shows up, drinks beer, cranks him yard.
It just gets to first.
And just gets to first. It's like, Skoogie baby, just get to first. That's all we need out of you.
That's all I ever wanted to be was
Yeah.
a DH. The life of a DH is like being a backup
Yes.
kicker. It's just
it's the
perfect.
best. Yeah.
You
He
never
shows up
really
to practice. He has fun. And he's like, he goes to bat.
He's
And
the
then
good guy.
I'm good.
He doesn't have to play, I'm assuming. He's not playing like first or something.
Yeah.
And even if he is, he's playing first.
Yeah.
Not a big
Easy
deal.
peasy.
Oh.
But we got some dudes on that team, but it's still funny just seeing the people aging out. Where I always wonder if there's like any like ego stuff going on with that, with like the guy that used to be the pitcher got replaced, and he was the pitcher for like 6-7 years. Just because it is a fire department, it's
And
like a good pitcher doesn't come around that often.
Right.
And a younger guy came in and was like, "Oh, this guy's legit," and they're like, "You're gone. You just got cut, son."
And then you got to go to work with that guy the next day.
Yeah, like you're the rookie, and it's like,
Sup, Captain?
"Hello, Captain, backup pitcher." We have a football team too, the
Really?
Dallas Defenders, which that's small enough or not as popular towards the Defenders because it's like first responders from the greater metro area.
Right.
Just because like they play full pads, full speed,
That's what I
tackle
was about to
football,
ask. No, they play full pads.
and they asked me to come and play because I was maybe one of the best backup high school quarterbacks in
I was gonna say,
2008.
you got a ball
Nice.
player's build.
But I'm a big guy. And I was like, no.
Can you still
Just 'cause
sling?
my less so.
Right.
My shoulder's not good.
Was it
but-
that shoulder that got dislocated?
No, it's the left one,
Oh,
but
that's
the
good.
right one's going. I literally threw a football at the lake the other day, and we were just like, nope.
You just hear a snap.
Because I remember I thought my dad was a bitch because we would always play catch. Like, we play. I'm like looking. I'm having a son in August,
Oh, congratulations.
and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the day he plays catch.
Yeah.
Because as an adult, I will throw rocks at things.
I still do.
I still do it. I am ready to play catch with anybody still. Just less people ask when you're 34 to
Yeah.
play catch.
You need to join the Big Brother program.
Yeah,
You'd solve
I need
so
to.
many lives.
I need to, but I won't. But I'm busy, kinda.
I don't
know.
want to.
I'm thinking about it. I'm really seriously considering joining the Big Brother program. Maybe later.
You got a son now.
Great program. Yeah. But my dad would throw underhanded because his shoulders were f***ed up.
Yep.
And he laughed about it. We're like, he played college football very briefly at UNT. My uncle
shit.
played college basketball at UTA.
Wow.
And their other brother played the piano. And they were like,
black
when they were old men, they were just like, "F***ing Chris nailed it." You know what Chris is?
Still playing piano?
Chris is very good at the piano now because he's been practicing for 50 years. My knees hurt. Like, this is not the right...
I'm waiting for the day that something finally gives out officially. Like,
Oh, yeah. It'll come.
yeah,
It came one day. I was like 31 or 2. And I had like
clock
3 injuries. And there's no injury report for dudes with f***ing jobs.
what happened? I stepped off a curb.
Where
Like,
it's like, do I get to sit out for 4 weeks now? It's like, no, just
go to work.
Yeah, go to work, you idiot. 'Cause I did jujitsu forever,
Oh, really?
and I plan on going back because I'm like, got a couple stripes on a purple belt and did it forever, and like it's like a life goal to get a black belt
Yeah.
just because
I
it's
mean,
neat.
especially since you're already at purple, too.
Yeah, and but a lot of it's just like time and committing to a gym, and I went to Marcelo Garcia Dallas for most of that time, and
Oh, yeah,
it was a great community, and like still buddies with a bunch of those people. But like, I just started getting worn down because you still have like the ego thing of like,
I can take you.
nah, I can beat that guy.
And
And then you like would lay back and like let people get places, and I'm a bigger guy, so I'm usually the bigger guy, and you're like letting people do stuff, and then every now and then like someone would get something, and you're like, nah, fuck you. And then you're like, this is worth me walking weird for a couple weeks.
Right.
And then afterwards, you're like, that was stupid.
Yeah.
But so it's like you have to transition to old man jujitsu
I
at
did
some
that
point in
with
time.
wrestling when I was younger. Like,
Yeah.
at a certain point, there were dudes that you'd exactly do that. You'd let them get to a position so you could work from that.
Yeah.
And then there'd be just one kid you didn't like in your weight class. You're like, no, fuck
No,
this
fuck
little
that
fatty.
guy. Yeah.
I'm a fatty, but he's fat
Yeah.
too. Fuck this kid.
I have a great high school wrestling story of I did it like 2-3 years, like, and just like never really competed, just showed up to the after football, like
Yeah, it was you had
during
to do
Christmas
something when it wasn't
break, and
football.
then I hated track because I played quarterback and I was slow, so I'd always go out to track, and I was actually pretty good at throwing discus.
I was gonna say, did you try field at all?
No, I was not allowed to
Oh.
because I was slow, and it's Texas high school. They were like, you're gonna get faster, and so they'd put me in the sprint team, like the 100, 200. And so I just lost races in practice. Never went to a meet because I was in last place every time. But they're like, no, you're going to run 100-meter dashes.
For no reason.
For no reason.
It's your uncle all over.
Yeah,
again.
exactly.
I just want to throw the discus and be good at piano.
Like, can I just play the piano, please? Like, no, you're slow. Everyone
No, you're
hates
slow.
you.
You're gonna do hurdles now too because you
Yeah.
asked.
310 hurdles, terrible race.
My dad did that in high school, and he said there was nothing worse than the 310 hurdles.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
He said as much pain as he had in his knees from triple jump, he would take losing his knees to triple jump over doing 110 hurdles.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, I couldn't imagine being track and field.
But this wrestling meet.
Oh, right.
So freshman year, my buddy Brian was a wrestler. And after football, I just go like, hey, like, come to practice, check it out. And so I show up, and he has me get on a scale, and I'm like 14 in 9th grade, like got the swoopy haircut and a My Chemical Romance sweatshirt on. And
Tale as old as time.
a tale as old as time. And the coach has me go like get on a scale. So I'm like in my underwear, I weigh like 188. And he was like 180, or it was first 188, 189. I forgot the weight class, but it was he was like, no, that's a good weight class for you. And if you played football, they weren't big on you cutting weight or anything.
Right.
Which is a good attitude to have for like kids.
Yeah, it's too tough to lose it at 14, 15.
Yeah,
You
you're like,
just gotta
and it's
wait
not good for
puberty.
them, but people want to be competitive.
Right.
But so they were like, hey, tonight we have a duel against our crosstown rival, Louisville High School. Why don't
Okay.
you come check it out, and you can see what wrestling's all about? Because no one, like, in Iowa, they wrestle when they're like 5. I never wrestled. Like, I'd wrestled with brothers and friends. Like,
Yeah, that was about
it's
it.
not like a sport you understand. And they have me come to the meet or the duel, and we get there, and he's just like, hey, what do you weigh again? And I was like, 188. And he was just like,
You're going in.
you're going in. He literally, he was just like, our guy's sick. Do you want to go in? And this is a varsity duel against like another big school.
Where'd you go to school?
Marcus.
Oh,
No shit.
okay.
Yeah.
So, by the way, just a little bit, fuck you,
Okay.
because of your offensive line.
When?
Well, I was way later, but I went to Byron, and at the time, Flower Mound Marcus had become the Tongan high school.
Oh, really? I didn't know
so
that.
They had gotten an all Tongan offensive line,
Yeah.
and that was it. So, like, they had taken the Trinity Euless phone
They
book
all moved over. Good.
and screwed us
Yeah.
up. Like, I think we lost 77-7
Yeah.
first time we played.
That's
it was
crazy.
Bad.
I remember like being surprised we were so good for a while. This is
Yeah.
becoming the high school hero podcast.
It really has.
I'm going to finish this wrestling story and we'll move on. So I go into this duel, and they don't have, like, never wrestled, never been to a practice. I stepped on a scale, and they're like, well, you're wrestling your first varsity meet tonight.
That's so terrifying.
It's so terrifying. And at 189, like, I was like 6'3", like then.
Right.
And this guy was like built like a little fire hydrant. And I didn't have any gear. And so we had like a heavyweight that ended up going to state and stuff. And so after he wrestled,
Oh,
they had me wear his sweaty ass singlet. And it was like, he was way bigger than me, so it was like baggy on me. So I just looked like a real like stepchild coming out onto this little mat.
She's like, who's letting the fucking
And I didn't get pinned. I didn't get pinned, but I
Okay.
remember like just mimicking what he was doing.
It's
Like he kind of did that head grab thing, and I was just like, yes, we are wrestling now.
you're just talking to him like, okay, so what do we do next?
Yeah. What's the next move?
You can win. I just don't want to look stupid.
Yeah. So I lost that one. got pointed out, but you know, I technically wrestled varsity in high school.
There you go. That's all
one
you
time.
need. Just the one
Yeah,
credit.
just the one credit.
I did wrestling one season, but like Pee-wee, so I think it was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was wrestling with the fullback on our team, who is just the stud.
Yeah.
Biggest, baddest dude I've ever seen. Like, he had traps at 12. It was ridiculous. And I was watching him wrestle, cheering him on, and the biggest, baddest dude I knew got thrown on his head and knocked out. I was like, wrestling's not for me. I'm a pussy.
I'm a pussy.
If fucking and with a name like you can't lose a sport event.
You can't be a puss if your name's That's a WWE name right there.
It really is. Blake, we might have to cut this out, or at least his last name. His dad was W's Secret Service after presidency.
Okay.
And one of our football games, he was also our football coach when in Pee-wee, and we were losing, and at halftime, he's like, I'm going to do something to hype y'all up. Watch this. And he was wearing a trench coat, which was weird. But we also
football
had
coach in a trench coat. That's
it was straight. It was a very Tom
bunch of
Landry-esque.
children. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing over there? But we hadn't put together that he said right after the game he has to go to work, and he opens his trench coat, fucking 3 guns just on his right side.
just desk pops. Just
We went on a 35-point run and won the
nothing
game.
gets boys more fired up than errant gunshots.
Coach was the shit, man.
Yeah.
If we didn't have him, oh man, that's so. But yeah, no. Honestly,
I had a bit that I wanted to work.
let's work it right now.
It's a funny premise, but you have to have like played sports where, and I've been like with my wife now for like 7 or 8 years, and I was like, the further removed you are from sports and getting laid, the better you were at it in your head.
Yeah.
So you have a very exact. You're not that far removed from playing sports.
I remember how
You
when I
were-
was bad and when I was good.
You remember exactly what the score was.
Right.
I'm like 15 years removed. And I'm of the age where like stats aren't online.
Right. So
So in
everything
my
was
head,
just a
I
win.
can get a little cocky sometimes and be like, "That's pretty shit hot JV, you know?"
It's the stereotypical like 86. I scored 77 touchdowns, almost went
Yeah.
pro, and then I blew out my knee.
Blew up my knee. If not for the knee, I would have done it.
There's
But
no max preps.
there's no max preps. There's no huddle.
Yeah. There's
No
no
E.
24/7 sports. No
Yeah.
one had rankings. And
There's
if
no
they did, we just
Instagram for high
lied.
school athletes. Very strange world we live in.
Yeah.
Oh man, because it went to that, it went to crazy shit. Because I brought up how I'm waiting for my body to fall apart, but because of high school sports, I've fucking fractured 3 discs in my back
Okay.
in my sophomore year of high school,
Yeah.
and I
the
like
fuck
when
you
it
do
rains,
that?
powerlifting because they told me I wasn't fast enough to do track,
Yeah.
and if you're not in track, you're doing baseball, and I didn't make the team, or powerlifting.
I went to a powerlifting meet once in high school
It's
where it was the
awful.
same thing where they were like, we weren't big on it. I feel like the colony was good at it.
Yeah,
Or they still then, but like,
they were in every meet that I heard my friends went
and
to.
they were literally like, hey, you 3, what are y'all doing Saturday? I was like, doing whatever you say.
Yeah, you. Well,
It's
now
like, well, you're in a
spending 6
powerlifting
hours.
meet.
Yeah.
And it was like, there was like 3 of us that we were like, you know, decent athletes for like 15, 16, but not like studs by any means.
Yeah, you're not the extremes that.
And
are
we were the
lifting
first
numbers.
guy. It was like our first time ever putting one of those bench press shirts on.
Yeah, dude, those
And
things
so
are
we're like
weird.
figuring out how to do it. Just like, I don't know. Throwing 245 up. Like, yeah.
I know. I had a bunch of friends. We had one dude that went to play football for Navy, and I watched him at a meet squat like 650 or 700 or something
Yeah.
crazy. And I'm just sitting there. I'm the guy below him on the depth chart, just in age. So he's like my dad. I'm just watching
Yeah.
Dad go. I'm like, yeah, go, hell yeah, man. And then he gets down to the bottom in that singlet, and I can tell the singlet's not helping him anymore. Because if you don't know, in powerlifting, your singlet actually has some sort of help that it gives you because
Yeah.
it's so tight. And I could see him like actually have to turn on the jets. I'm like, oh, his knees are about to fucking go. Like you're just waiting for those 2
Terrible.
rubber bands in your knees just
Yeah.
to snap. It's insane to me that you're having children do that sport.
I know. Crazy. And like, I remember this guy, Chris Johnson. He went to play college football somewhere, but he was just like a big, strong kid. And they'd like have your maxes on the weights, and you'd work out with people that were like in groups
Near
of
it.
3 near it.
Yeah.
And we were near each other, but he would squat and would just, from the standing position, just do a back bend.
Oh God.
But he was just throwing weight around. And we're like, is there not an adult here? I think this is bad.
I'm younger than him. He's not going to listen to me.
Yeah, I'm not in charge here, but I
Right.
think this is wrong.
That's what happened to me. No one watched my form ever because I was not high enough in the depth chart for them to care about. And I did way too much weight. I had terrible form. And I didn't know they cracked until I took the bar off. And then when I took it off, I just fell straight to the ground.
Not good.
Yeah, just 3 compression fractures through like somewhere in the lumbar.
That's crazy to like hurt yourself like that.
Yeah, and they didn't care. That was the other thing. Is like, all right, well, you're out of the rotation for this week. I'm like, well, I'm out of the rotation for 8 months.
Yeah.
I have to go to a separate doctor, not even this training doctor, because they said I had a back spasm. Like, nah, I
You're
heard
fine.
crack. Yeah.
You're fine. You'll make it.
Oh man. So what happened to where you dislocated your shoulder?
It was at jiu-jitsu.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And it was fucking stupid. Where it was ego rolling at its finest, and I had like a competition coming up.
Okay. Oh, so you actually competed too?
Yeah, and so, well, I mean, like you just sign
with
up.
other guys that were in your classes and stuff.
If you got $80 and a free Saturday, you too can compete.
Okay. It wasn't like
I wasn't like
Sensei
ADCC
John.
didn't call me. It wasn't like me and Gordon Ryan.
Yeah.
Sensei Brian says you have the stuff. Meet him here on Saturday.
But I still took it seriously, and like we had a competition class. Like whenever like a couple months out of a big competition, they'd have like a special competition class, and I had been drinking that day, but I was like, I don't want to miss competition class.
Right.
So either I shouldn't have drank, or skipped it,
Right.
and I decided no,
I'm gonna do both.
I'm gonna do both. So I showed up a little lit up and did something stupid and fucking pretty much dislocated my own shoulder.
Oh God. Mine, when it came out from the back and got stuck up under your collarbone.
Mine got stuck up and out. Where it looked like Rookie of the Year. Or like,
Oh yeah.
and I tried to drive myself to the hospital, but like
with your hand just sticking out.
I literally was like trying to roll my window down the right angle to like get my elbow on it. And it's very stupid. But then a guy from the gym was like, it was down the street from Baylor, so they just drove me to it
Right.
in my car. But then like I saw there was a bunch of Dallas ambulances in the like approach, and so I kind of was like, maybe one of these fuckers can pop it in. And one guy like tried, and I was like, nah, fuck it, I'll just go in. And so you get to like skip the line a little bit,
Right.
And I'm glad I didn't let that guy try again, because they had to like put me to sleep and like had the leg up on the gurney, like trying to yank it in.
So that's crazy because
My wife hates it, but they were like, they had to put me down because they were like, I'm sorry, we gotta like put you down to like get better leverage on it. It's like,
Right.
you're too densely muscled. And I just looked at my wife and was like,
Told
you heard it. You heard it. Doc, this isn't the first time this has been a problem. All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty jacked. I should probably lay off.
I probably should. Yeah.
I probably heard it this morning or something.
Just like my tubby ass. Just like, Doc, I get it. Listen, I don't think you want to charge me an extra $800 for this. I get it.
So I had this similar idea. When mine happened, long story short, I was in a dumb douchebag fighting in someone's front yard boxing league, quote unquote. Yeah, it was
Okay.
very country white trash shit.
Street beefs style.
Very street beef style, but more boxing, less MMA.
Yeah.
12 seconds into my second fight with that quote unquote league, my shoulder pops out.
Ooh.
13 seconds into that fight, the police raid the boxing ring. So my shoulder's getting out and I'm getting arrested at this point. I have my best friend and roommate who is also a nursing major. I'm like, Justin, I need you to put this back in because I don't want a hospital bill.
I've been to school for 6 months. I can handle this.
I'm like, you got this, but well, really, it was you got this, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm laying on the tailgate. The cop has this hand in cuffs, and he has that hand on my back pushing me down. And I had to look at him. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like, you're fine. I know I'm getting arrested. I've already succumbed to that. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about the hospital bill that's coming.
Which what everyone who's about to run away says.
You don't have to worry
Chill,
about me.
dude. I'm fine. We're cool.
Right.
You and me
fair
are
enough.
buddies now, all right? I'm
You're
just gonna relax here. You're gone.
There was also immediate thought because it was right on the lake, so I'm like, I could probably swim with one arm. I could get away. This is a fat guy; he can't swim for long. But I'm in the hospital, and they have to put me on fentanyl to like get me to where my muscles relax to where they can get it. And at that moment, I'm signing my ticket with the wrong hand high on fentanyl. I'm like, I don't think this is admissible in court. But all right. The fucking people said, yeah, you didn't go out, which was incredible, but you did a set. They said I was doing comedy. I hadn't even started yet. I'm like, yeah, I was scared. And this is my coping mechanism when people think I'm a bitch.
Yeah, it's going to be funny. It's fine. This is okay.
I'll make fun of myself for 5 minutes. I've got that in the bag.
We're too deep on the high school hero train.
Why not make it the whole thing?
I had a funny cop story where it was just like a funny interaction with a guy because we weren't like close friends. It was one of those like his parents are out of town, the party's happening here, and it gets busted. The cops show up.
Right.
And I just remember like me and like 4 people like went up in the attic. And the last one I was like, close the door. And they didn't close the door, but they had like the AC unit up there.
Yeah.
And so and it was on like planks. So I went and like put my feet on the planks and put my back to the AC unit. So I was like up off the ground so you couldn't see me if you just shined a light.
Right.
And the other 3 people up there with me got pulled down. Everyone got tickets. And I had to wait in the attic until everyone was gone.
How long did that take?
Like 2 hours. I was in that attic for a very long time, and then having to come down, like just pop down the attic ladder, and just to a kid I don't really know that well, and be like,
Sucks,
"Hey,
man,
that sucks, dude."
great party.
Yeah, that was fun while it lasted. So I'm gonna go ahead and skedaddle.
There was this one time in college where I had worked with these dudes at the car wash. And they all lived on this one property with a bunch of houses on it. Just, once again, very white trash shit.
Yeah.
And they had thrown a bush party. So they had hired me and like 2 of my friends to work the gate as security. And at one point, the party gets busted. 3 state troopers pull up. They park their cars in front of the exit to get out. The number 1 cop that says anything is just this angry lady. Like, she looks angry because her ponytail's too tight. Angry.
Yeah.
And she's walking out like, what the fuck is going on? You need to get everyone out of here. And like I stopped her. I'm like, I can't get everyone out of here. She's like, oh, do you want me to come in there and get everyone out for you? I go, no, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
You parked in front of the way. I can't get everyone out of here because you're in the way. Move your car. And the 2 other guys right there are just fucking trying not to crack up. This lady, apparently a couple months later, gets a full-ass report on her and how she like hit a bunch of people at different arresting moments. She's like smacked people across the face.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, so I just could have easily gotten myself into some sort of lawsuit with the cops here because I wanted $10 extra and a free case of beer.
I had one of those where my wife got mad at me, where she had a crazy situation where, and I was like halfway mad at her, but halfway like proud of her, where like, she was just like in our neighborhood, like on kind of a main road in Dallas, and this girl ran up like screaming for help.
Yeah.
And she like jumped in the car, and then the guy chasing her
jumped in her car?
Her car.
Okay, her car.
She was alone.
I was thinking your
I
car.
think I was at work, so I was at the station.
Right.
And so I get the story like an hour later, and the guy was chasing her, and then like tried to get in the car.
Jeez.
And my wife pulled away, and he yanked off her door handle on one of her rear doors.
Yeah.
And then ends like finding a place to put this girl, and it's like, she's 19 or something.
Jeez.
And she's just like, you have press charges. Like, people don't change unless there's consequences, and like do the right thing.
Yeah, you have to be forced
and she
to change.
Probably didn't.
Right.
But
she loves him.
Yeah.
Daddy, he's a good guy.
Yeah. But so they end up like the guy gets arrested that night. But then like, and so I show up to like, help out. My wife's, like, this is crazy.
Yeah, she had to take over this little girl for the night.
And so you gotta find out where to fucking put her. You're just like, all right, well, here's a good corner. So she like went and dropped her off at like a friend's house or something, and then the cop showed up, and then they were getting like a police report from her because it was like, you need to get an insurance. It's not a police matter, the damage to her car. It's like a personal matter with that guy.
Right.
And so it was like, do you want to file a claim for like, the door handle costs $40 and it's you're gonna have to pay a guy $150 to put it on or something.
Yeah.
And so do you want to like have this guy have our information, or do we just want to pay $200 out of pocket
and just help her out? Yeah.
But we got like, she filed a police report and everything, and I show up, and like I work with cops a lot.
Right.
They're just like any population of people. 10% of them suck. 10% of them are great. The rest are different levels of okay.
Right. They're just there.
They're people at work.
Mhm.
They dick off.
Right.
They just have very serious consequences when they dick off.
I've seen so many cops taking a nap in their squad car.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Like, there have to be, like, okay cops. Like, I would do that.
No, so I was driving my wife home in her car, and the one cop is blocking our exit from this parking lot,
Mhm.
and I like pull up behind him, and I like start getting out. It's like, I'm gonna tell him to get out of the way. She's like, he's doing something. Like, leave him alone. I was like, no, like this guy's just fucking sitting here dicking around on his phone.
We're work buddies.
And I walk up, and he was in fact dicking around on his phone. And I was like, hey, this is the only exit we got to get out. And he was like, oh, sorry, I was, texting the detective on this. And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up.
I saw Candy Crush.
Yeah, I saw Instagram. Like,
You're
don't
on
lie to me
Tinder.
right now. It's like I was doing important police work.
I was watching you watch that twerk video for 20 seconds.
Yeah. But,
Okay, so to get away from the hometown hero, we do have a game. Blake, will you start getting that pulled
ooh,
up?
start the game.
The game is very fun.
Shotties.
Mugshotties. If you've watched before, you've seen it before. This is a very fun game where we like to make fun of people at their lowest point. I understand how that sounds, but people made fun of me too. So
Yeah.
this is what's fun. And we've made fun of myself on this
Yeah.
podcast at a countless end. But as the game states, we're just going to see a random person. That is not their name, what you're going to see. It's a name that Blake has made up, and we're just going to guess to see what they
Could
did.
be their name.
It could be their name. You might have just guessed
Might have
correct.
guessed it right.
I'm
Yeah.
going to judge the names. Are they funny?
They're actually very truck stop hookerish.
Oh, you had a
Okay.
bunch of lot lizards?
yeah,
all right,
I
good
had
then.
I had a theme this time.
Yeah, last
like
time it was just roasting me with every dude meth head that you
Yeah.
could find.
Yeah.
Candy with a K.
Sugar cane.
Kyla, close.
With a K.
Oh,
Kyla
gosh.
could
Kyla?
get it. She is
very
a
well.
she is a mugshotty.
What is that? Vanessa Hudgens, the lady from High School Musical.
She
Is that who
does.
I'm
She
thinking
does
of?
look like her. Yeah,
Oh.
that is right. Okay, Kyla.
Why is she smiling? That's the thing.
That is not a smile.
It's close.
I don't think you get a lot of positive validation from women.
Oh
if
no,
you're
not
like,
at all. Not at all. But
if
also,
you're
I
like,
like
look at
witchy
this,
women.
look at this beaming smile on this lady. Very neutral faced.
Very happy to be with me.
Yeah.
With the women I've been with, this is what they look like if I spend like $500 on a birthday event for them. Like this is I like witchy bitchy women. Like
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But
all
I
right.
mean, she's already in clothes, so she's been pre-booked,
yeah.
and she doesn't look that mad at what she did.
No, she's in the right.
She's in the right. Okay.
This is. Oh, she's not in the right, but in her head, she's in the right.
Oh, okay.
Credit card fraud.
Ah, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
Okay, I was gonna say like stalking. She looks like she's stalking her ex-boyfriend.
Okay. This is
of-
just wishful thinking from you right
Yeah,
now.
I know. Yeah.
Maybe she cares.
Blake, find a real name for me. We don't need to put it out there, but I need to put it myself out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll,
So-
I'll hit her up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what did Kyla do, Blake? Trespassing. An OSU student arrested during the Gaza protests.
Oh, okay.
All right.
She's got a good heart.
yeah, she
she's
was in
a
the right,
leftist.
actually. You were right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got a good heart.
She's got a good heart. She might have hit a cop or something, but, that's fun.
Still gonna vote for Biden.
Still gonna do it. It's all the same.
Oh, this is my type.
Jamie, you do drugs.
One
this
eye
is
is
this
open
is
and
the
one
this
eye
is the
not.
first picture from Meth Faces. Like, look how cute she used to be.
Oh, right. This is the before picture.
This is the before Meth Face picture.
where she ages 10 years in 2 days.
Jamie murdered a family in a DUI.
Oh, that's such a good guess.
I'm calling it. Yeah.
Oh man. So
Edit out me taking my Zins out.
I was gonna say, I feel like Jamie here. Oh man, yeah, she's a psychopath, but I don't think that's what they got her on. I bet she was peddling drugs or something. Like she was with her boyfriend's drugs.
Don't blame it on the man. Like,
Don't
she's
blame it on the
involved.
man, but she took it on herself to stand up for him because she's got 2 strikes,
Oh,
or he's
boy.
got 2 strikes,
Yeah.
I should say.
All right. What did Jamie do?
Public
urination.
DUI. So you kind of got that, and public indecency. This chick fucks. This is.
Yeah. Jamie's here for a good time.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not mad at Jamie at all.
I don't know if that's a shadow from a big chin or a choker, but either way.
That's a choker.
Okay, that's what I thought. This
That's a
chick is
choker?
awesome.
Now, I think it's a shadow now that I say it, but since you called me out on it, but
It'd be cool if it was a Joker.
that would be. She looks like she would have a choker.
I can't remember who told it. Oh, yes, I do.
Barbara, you were assisting a man sell large quantities of drugs. She's got that face of like, no, I'm El Chapo because I bang him sometimes,
She looks like one of these 17-year-old trying to be ghetto chicks. Like she's trying so hard to do.
I can't
push
believe
drugs.
I've disagreed with you on so many of these. It's like, that is a ghetto chick. She's not pretending.
You're right.
It's like that Bad Baby girl, Catch Me Outside.
Bad Bunny, yeah.
Yeah, whatever the fuck her name
Bad.
is.
No, it was Bad Baby.
Bad
Oh
Baby.
yeah, Bad Bunny's
yeah.
the Mexican.
Yeah, Catch Me
singer.
Outside.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Had a good song or two.
Did she really?
I think there was producers behind it, but there were one or two of them was catchy.
Apparently running a very lucrative OnlyFans.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but I get that too. You're like, it's not
Ooh,
even
that
anything
was always-
sexual. It was always just like, what is she like? I gotta see.
Well, that was like the Bella Thorne thing too, where it was like, I'm gonna do a big splash, start an OnlyFans, and it's just my Instagram photos of me being a slut with nice tits.
Yeah,
And
anything
then-
that's just passable.
And then people, she made like $1 million, and it's like, this is all I'm posting. And everyone's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, everyone signed up one time and
Yeah.
saw it like, you bitch. Like
Yeah.
that was it.
Like, oh,
Good for her.
Yeah.
what'd you say Barbara does? You were very wrong about.
I was very wrong, probably. But I'm gonna say she got in trouble for fighting.
Fighting. Okay. Barbara.
Failed to stop and render aid after a car. That's lame.
Is that hit and run?
I hope that's hit and run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, oh, we're all pieces of shit. She's a doctor.
Yeah. 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 Oh, I see this person dying on the side of 35. Like,
Right.
I have to pull over and help.
What do you want me to do other than stand there and just, damn, that looks bad.
Yeah.
Darn it.
I went too big on that one. Tina.
Jesus Christ.
Tina, you had an altercation.
Yeah.
Was that
Tina-
related to the incident? Was it the incident?
I hope so.
He
Okay.
had a very home plate structured face. Like, that is perfectly a pentagon.
Okay, I've gone too big. We're going to go old-fashioned here. Publican talks,
Okay.
resisting arrest.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good guess for Tina.
Yeah.
So I can't tell if that's like a regular badge or if that's a sheriff's badge, and it doesn't necessarily matter a whole lot. Tina got in trouble for possession. I'm starting to see. I don't think that one on the neck is an acne scar. I think she's picking. She's a meth head.
Okay. Okay.
Assaulting a public safety officer.
Resisting arrest.
Disorderly conduct interfering with a peace officer. Wow. You fucking nailed it,
The
man.
kid did it. The
Yeah.
kid did it. The people said he wouldn't do it. There was a lot of hate.
Well, when you're working as a firefighter, you're right there. I should have known better than to go up toe to toe.
That looked like a fresh wound.
Yeah.
That looked like a fresh wound.
You're also a criminal justice major. So.
Yeah, but I cheated a lot, and
Yeah.
there's no way I would have been a good one. Yeah, they told me I have 2 charges on my repertoire, even though some of them got expunged.
Okay.
They've still got to be there, no matter
They're
how.
somewhere.
Yeah, they can find it.
like a federal background check, they're gonna find that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I
It's
also
not on your record. It didn't happen. Remember that.
I went to college for criminal justice during COVID. Like, there was no way I was going to be a good cop.
You don't need a degree to be a good cop. What are you talking about? That's the same thing with firemen, where they're like, you need 45 hours of college or military service. And so there's a lot of guys that get 45 hours
Right.
just to meet the requirement and then get hired on young. And it's just like, was that really? I guess like give any sort of task to accomplish
Yeah.
where it's like, and then I get an extra like $3,600 a year for having a bachelor's, and it's like, I don't think this makes me a better fireman.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I mean, that was the other thing, too, is they said I wanted to be a game warden originally.
okay, that's a cool job.
It would have been great.
Yeah.
But then I talked to a couple people that were game wardens, and they're like, oh, yeah, you've got these 2 charges. Good fucking luck. But also, you've got even if you had a 3.8, everyone that's a game warden, because they don't die, or they don't leave until they die, everyone's got a 4.0 and a helicopter pilot's license.
Yeah,
And if you
that
wanted
makes
to
sense
do
because it's such a competitive. Or like, I remember the first time I took like a civil service test. The Fort Worth and Dallas ones were like, you go to the convention center, and there was like 1,500 people there,
Oh, geez.
all taking the test, and you like had to do great on it.
Right.
And now it's like they're just looking for people.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I had a buddy that he only isn't a firefighter because of his paramedic. What is
He's
getting at?
dumb,
Yeah, yeah.
is what
He
he
is
meant
dumb.
to say.
He's dumb, but he means well.
Yeah. There's a lot of people that mean well that are very dumb. Man, I've always told people where it's like they're so nervous about the paramedic, like the NREMT and like the big test.
EMT. That's what I was thinking of. I'm
Where
dumb
it-
too.
Well, no, the EMT, there's like EMT and then paramedic.
Okay.
And so it's the same test of like, or it's not the same test, but it's like the same like style of test.
Gotcha.
And the test is the hardest thing you'll do. But like people will be so nervous, and you have to study hard. I studied hard, but then you have to go like, hey, look around. Do you see a bunch of idiots? Just study hard and you'll be fine.
Right. You also did just say earlier, it's a bunch of ex-athletes.
You're gonna make it. Like if you put the work in, you'll be fine.
Right.
But there are people that struggle with it, and like
his biggest thing, I think, was he had to move back in with his parents.
To be a fireman in Texas, I don't know if it's everywhere, like a first responder, you have to be an EMT as well, which is like...
That's what he failed.
Sick. Oh, then he's a fucking dummy.
Yeah.
What's his name? Name
I love you. Yeah. Blake, you remember him? That's Wild Card. Wild Card wanted to be a firefighter so badly.
Man, and that sucks though, because you know, if people want to do it, and if they work hard, you think you could find a space for them. But like the EMT thing really is like 6 weeks of college or community college, and then you like take a test and do a bunch of write-outs. And if you look at like, it's once you get like more comfortable being a paramedic, like the next step, you start figuring out like, oh, there's 12 things I can do. And so you just have to be good at those 12 things.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying.
90% of the time you're just dealing with people and bullshit.
Yeah, that's kind
and there's like, you got to know like the drugs you give, like cardiac arrest stuff, like when to shock people.
Right. After that, it's just...
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, you took
that's
health,
about
so
it.
you
Now
know...
you're giving like you're like breathing for people. Like there's more things to it,
Right.
And then being excellent at anything requires extra effort to like be great at it. But like just the bare minimum to get through EMT is not a ton.
Right. That's what I've heard too. Because one summer I was working for a firefighter, and his side job was building fences.
Yeah,
and I just talked to him all day long.
20% of them.
Oh yeah, I've seen so many hook and ladder fencing companies or hook and ladder something.
Fencing, roofing, landscaping,
something that's a 2-day job.
Christmas lights is a big one.
Right.
Yeah, I know a bunch of guys that make great money doing Christmas lights because it's seasonal. It's like 2 months or 1 month out of the year. You set them up. You have like 6 crazy weeks of putting lights up.
Right.
And then you take them down.
Yeah. And there's always going to be some bozo like me who's too much of a pussy to get on his roof. Like right now, I don't have a lady, so no one's telling me to do it, which is nice. But we've also figured that out. It's not that crazy for me to say. And we saw the house when you were coming in. It would be weird if I put Christmas lights up at this house.
This is a male-dominated house.
Oh, 100%.
I was not expecting it. He seems like such a well-put-together young gentleman. You get here, and I've lived with a lady for too long, where I have nice shit. There's candles. There's like an idea to everything. You know, things flow. There's towels. There's a lot of towels. Yeah, there's a towel. You know?
There's a towel somewhere around here. It's never dry, but
there's a Q-tip holder that says balls deep.
There is
and it is empty.
The worst part about that is my mom bought me that. Like, of all fucking people, my mom bought me balls deep. And
we were laughing about it before the podcast. Of like, I loved what Lawrence said when he did the podcast. Where he's like, I've never been outside in like this beautiful podcast room,
and the rest
is
of it
the
is
only
just...
room. It is clearly only dudes live here.
He's like, the house looks like it could be condemned soon, but the podcast room is a match.
It's got good bones. It's got good bones.
No,
you should get Chip and Joe in here. A nice lady
too. I mean, Blake, you remember what it looked like prior. It was on a webcam. It was tilted to the side because I didn't care enough to figure out how to get it like 2 degrees to the left to be straight. There was no decorations on the wall.
Yeah.
It was this table and one shot. It was just so bad.
Yeah. Well, our podcast that Scott Crisp and I do, Oddball History.
Oddball History. Y'all please go watch that. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And if you like to learn things, it's very interesting to have a different way to take new information in.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun doing it. But it literally is at my house. And it's in a, like, we don't have any background stuff. Everyone, like, I've had people complain in comments of just like, hey, put something in the background.
Yeah. Turn on my videos to listen.
There's one drawing, like a piece of art that like I just like. And it's like this guy with a butcher cleaver. And it's always like right above my, and it wasn't on purpose or anything. It's just where it is.
Yeah, right in the home.
So like, yeah, we probably should have some background thing of like.
That's where she let you decorate. It's just that one spot.
I get this.
You could have multiple things, but if you want the butcher, you only get one thing to put up on your space.
She laughs. She's not like that, or I put a bunch of stuff up, but I always like weird stuff where there's this lady, in White Rock Lake in Dallas, there's this like White Rock studio tour where there's a bunch of artists in the area, and you get to go to like tour their studio and like look at all the stuff they're making. There's like 40 houses involved in it,
Right.
and then like a lot of them are like crazy nice of like seeing all the cool stuff they're making. And there's this lady that's a painter, but she will have like a table full of her scrap drawings, just like things she's drawn or painted, and like just just her trying something out.
Right.
And they're not framed or anything. They're just like scrap pieces of paper, and she was like $1 per piece of paper.
That's funny.
And so every year we go to her house, and I find something, and it's always these weird like dog people monsters. And
so
then
she's a furry.
Yeah, she's a furry. But I like making like the frames for them and stuff. And so there's like a couple of them prominently displayed of like this is very strange drawing.
I want something like that so bad. My tattoo artist, he also does art on the side.
Yeah.
And he's got a couple really cool paintings that I like. And that's the first thing I noticed when I walked into his studio. And then you turn around to kind of get into the chair to sit there the whole time. And you see all of his mishap, like when you go over to the next door neighbor of Toy Story, like he's got all those mishmash kids that he's just made. You're like, it's a doll, but it's also a phone and a clock. You're like, oh my God.
Did you ever meet David Jessup?
I've seen him around. I don't think
he hasn't really been around comedy much, but he did comedy for a while locally. And he does that. He makes like these creepy artwork things of like horror stuff. And I'm like, you're a pervert.
Yeah, it's such a
You do something weird at some point in time.
It's like when they
all right, Blake.
They open up their journal, they got all the weird drawings.
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He got me an acting gig one time. Total bullshit.
Really?
Where it was a murder mystery theater. And I was the murderer. But for the first half of the show, here's their angle. The trick to it is I was just a waiter. I was
He's not some elaborate clue person.
Yeah, I was like, this feels like y'all just needed an extra waiter. And so I was like acting subtly crazier throughout the time of like taking a shoe off and like acting all disheveled. But
did anyone notice?
Yeah, a couple people noticed. But it was just like, I literally just worked here as a waiter.
One guy called in sick. And
y'all could have just asked. Like I could have helped out, you know?
They rewrote the whole fucking dinner theater party just to have this
like
one
shit,
guy.
we're a man down.
We got to make him feel part like a special to this. And like we brought him in out of nowhere. Oh man, it's so fucking random. But
so random. I remember I like thought like doing comedy early on. You were just supposed to do acting. And I had zero interest in it.
Really?
Zero. I didn't give a shit. And I got like an agent. There was this girl that saw me at a show and was just like, you'd be perfect. Like, you got to look. And I was like, sign me up.
For commercials? Like,
yeah, I don't know. But I remember I went to one audition where it was for like a TGI Fridays commercial where it's like everyone sits around a table. You ever met Grant Redman?
Maybe.
He's a local guy. He's not really around the scene that much, but like he works a lot in acting. And I think he got it, but they like had you do this audition and they were like, okay, like you're just sitting at a table having fun. And I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Right.
And then they were like, oh, so for this, like just pretend like you're playing with a cat. And I remember I just sat there, I was like,
no.
I like did it. Like, it was just very not into it.
For the TGI Fridays commercial?
For the TGI Fridays commercial. This is not two separate stories. It was just like, these casting agents, they're just on power trips of how they can like make local people humiliate themselves.
I got a guy.
One of these fucking losers is going to get this job. We're going to give him fucking $2,000. Make him dance.
Dance, monkey,
and
dance.
I started being like, I don't think I like this. But I was walking out of that and a lady saw me and was just like, hey, how tall are you? I was like 6'3". She was like, you lying to me? I was like, you're standing next to me. And she just went, what are you doing Saturday? And I ended up being a stand-in for Troy Aikman in a Silver Car commercial.
Oh, shit.
And that was the only acting gig I ever got besides Murder Mystery Theater. And it was after like walking out of this audition being like, fuck this. This is fucking stupid.
You've got to use that as a credit. It was a stand-in for Troy Aikman.
Stand-in for Troy Aikman.
Was also a quarterback.
But they went overtime, so I got overtime. I made $1,000 to go to the fucking convention center.
Right.
And just kind of idle about for 9 hours.
Dude, you were
they do,
Troy
like-
Aikman's backup quarterback.
Exactly. Which I was a huge Troy Aikman fan growing up.
Who wasn't? I mean,
And my dad and I always talked about his hands, how big they were.
yeah.
Homoerotic, I agree.
Him, Jason Witten,
I don't,
and
y'all
Des
didn't
Bryant.
say it, but we were thinking it.
I'm right there with you because I went to. Did you ever hear of Ticket Stock?
No.
The Ticket radio station. My dad was a big fan. They
Nice.
run something at convention centers.
Dan and Jake
I've heard of them.
did the Dumb Zone.
Yeah, that's where actually I saw you and Lawrence were going and doing the Dumb Zone, so
Yeah.
I didn't follow them. They've got a bunch of funny clips.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to see what they've got. But when they would do Ticket Stock, they would always have like Dallas Cowboys that weren't huge that would come through. Like the long snapper would be there, and
Yeah.
one guy were like, "You're the long snapper in like '86," and he's like, "Yeah, now I sell cars." But like, they also had like this huge setup that had all the footballs in hand player size, and I can remember vividly. Des Bryant's went from one seam to the other on the other side.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not meant to be a football player.
No.
I've got baby hands, and this dude can just like, I looked like he could squeeze it like and pop it.
Oh, yeah.
He was a fucking.
But there was like a scene at the end where Troy Aikman's time cost more than my time. So he left, and they're like, we got to do one more shot. We fucking let Troy leave too early. And they're like, you're in. Again, backup quarterback, 2008. I snapped right into mode. I'm like, I'm ready. Put me in. Put me in. And I had to hold a briefcase, and I had, for like continuity purposes, I had to wear his suit. And he is impossibly proportioned.
Really?
Where he's like 6'3", 6'4", like we're the same height. And then I think we're like the same weight, where I was fat. I've been fatter, but like this was, years ago. So I was like, 215, 220.
Right.
And his shoulders were like, he wore like a 48 like wide.
Oh my God.
Just like a giant ass
Just
jacket.
shaped like a triangle.
Yes. And his waist size was like a 30.
What the hell?
I haven't worn a 30 since like 7th grade. So he just has like, he's just a triangle of a man. And I remember like I couldn't get close to even starting the zipper. So I have to just like squeeze my big ass into his pants, and like you have a jacket covering it, so you can't really tell. And I'm just holding a briefcase, and it's literally just like of my ass and the hand holding the briefcase, because I'm like walking out of the airport getting into a silver car, which I don't even know if it's still around. They paid for Troy Aikman and Judah Friedlander to do a commercial, and for me to do a commercial.
I'm just imagining you walking away and chip clips are on the front, just holding a shot.
But I remember my dad and I had a good laugh about that, of like always talking about, because he holds like a pen during broadcasts. Like, look at this fucking gorilla hands this guy's got.
It looks like when you sharpen the pencil too much, it's just that big.
Yeah, and it was just no, that silver car commercial. Those are my hands. For a now defunct company. Let me see if you can do if you pull up this silver car commercial.
Like, see if you can pull up Silver Car.
Did you get to meet him?
I like shook his hand. He was not the nicest.
Really?
Well, he wasn't like mean.
Yeah, he was just.
But it was just like,
matter of
we're on
fact.
set, and there's a guy that's your stand-in so they can get the lighting right.
Do you think he's high?
He doesn't care. I don't think he's high.
His eyes always just look blitz, but at this point, I just don't think he's
Oh,
high.
yeah, this is the one.
Oh, who was that? I know who that is.
Judah Friedlander.
Okay, that's who that is. I didn't know his name. I should have guessed that was Judah.
That's the director's hand, not Troy's.
Is the
I
point
rode
of this
that.
just-
I rode that escalator 100 times. I didn't know how much goes into these things to like make them look right. It's a lot, and so they literally just had me and another guy. Here we go. Wait for it. That's me.
You see part of your right ass cheek in your hand.
Go back and pause it on it.
Mom, get the TiVo out.
Yeah.
We made it.
I haven't seen this in forever. Yeah, baby.
You did.
How does it feel to meet a famous guy? I don't want to come in here big dogging y'all like this, okay? I don't I don't want to be like that.
You want to autograph the wall?
Yeah,
before
for
you
sure.
leave?
For sure. I do a joke about it where another Troy Aikman thing is I have all brothers who are all sports guys, and like my dad would come home with like autographed things, and we'd be like, "Fuck, this is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen."
I love this bit.
And we found out when we were older that he was just signing them. Which is a good dad move.
That's perfect.
That's perfect. Like kids don't know. Like we had like 8 or 9 footballs signed by Troy Aikman. That literally, and then when we were older, and he was like, I just signed those.
Were you ever mad?
No, it was funny.
If you find out too young, I might get a little mad.
Oh yeah, like Santa's not real.
Right.
And then you're like 16, you're like, that's actually pretty funny.
That's fucking.
It's a good dad move.
It's a good dad move.
Yeah.
The momentary excitement of having a football signed by Troy Aikman.
Right.
Nothing ever put on like a stand.
Yeah, and
prominently displayed in the home. No,
you're
there's
just
like
throwing
go
that
play with
ball
it.
around. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You get to play with a Troy Aikman signed
Oh, yeah.
football.
Which should have been a red flag, but we were too young. I'm just like, yeah, fuck it, throw the Troy Aikman ball in the pool. Who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit if the signature comes off? I
Yeah.
mean, make sure the signature doesn't come off. That's perfect, because like at that point, at 16 years old, you haven't looked at it in 6 years.
Yeah.
You just need the memory of it. That's
Yeah.
fucking great.
It was good.
Do we have any more of the mug shotties? I feel
I
like
think we have one more.
Oh, one more. Oh my god,
I ran a full tangent.
yeah,
Do we have another?
we nailed that one. Dana,
Dana.
you little hussy.
She looks like a twat. Like she just looks mean.
You don't know that.
I don't. But why is she in front of a concrete wall?
You can fix her. Well, she's in jail.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Chip and Joe haven't done loose stare it yet.
There's a reason this podcast isn't the Socratic seminar. It's the Dingbat district for a reason. I wasn't meant for much.
We're not exactly killing it.
Dana, what did you do, Dana? What did you do?
I think to pull away with the win, I got to come away with something crazy here. So she stabbed a guy. Dana stabbed somebody.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's probably not right.
Oh, there's no way.
Yeah.
But
No.
if it lands, it's big money points.
Yeah.
If there's anything I know about Paxi Baby over here is
I'm wrong.
He's
so
probably wrong. She stole something. I don't know what size.
Something from Sunglass Hut. Something just that simple and easy.
This was stole a car, child dispute, and a divorce.
Ooh, that's a big combo.
Little kidnapping situation.
Broke into a club that was closed and hid behind the bar drinking alcohol. Allegedly stole 6 bottles worth of liquor worth $500.
What the fuck was she drinking?
I've never been more wrong. Yeah. That's the bar price.
Blake, you pulled 4 of my types. Like this is a problem.
Well, none of them had big noses, so.
None of them had big noses, but they've all been arrested, which is a red flag I need to work on with a therapist.
When was the last time you were dating a lady?
Very recently. And
How recent? Was this the one we talked about where you broke up with her?
Yes, yeah.
So that was a couple months ago.
It might be a couple months at this point. All the days bleed together. It was just, for her and me to be together, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
I knew coming in there was an expiration date with her because she was way too sweet for me. And the amount of time she would go, "What did you just say?" It was like always like, "Oh, yeah, you're going to leave soon." And
Yeah.
at a certain point, it just got to where I was like, I don't love this girl. And any longer, it's just going to be rude of me to keep it going. I'm just going to be leading her on.
Yeah.
And she immediately unsubscribed from the podcast, and I think that's the healthiest thing that could have happened.
What a hilarious move
I
of
know.
like, I've unsubscribed from the podcast.
I know that was her big fucking move. But
Okay, we're going to do something because the last time we talked about her was with who broke up with a lady as well. Do you remember her name?
Oh yeah.
Not
Oh, I remember this conversation now. Yeah.
So, remember I followed her on Instagram? She accepted the invite. Ex-girlfriend. Cute girl.
Blake, for her own sake, you might have to bleep that.
So, what I'm going to do now is she posted a picture with her dog at a bar.
Okay.
I'm going to tag Okay, so what I want to do is thank you for suggesting me to follow her. What a cute dog. Is that uncomfortable enough?
You got to go with something like, is this the one you were talking about?
Okay. What do you think?
It doesn't help because I went to his mic on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Dude, I got trashed.
Blake apparently
got
made an ass
trashed?
of
Yeah,
himself.
I got-
How did you, Blake? You seem like such a well put together guy.
Yeah, we've been working on it. He's gotten a lot better. We're at a point now.
I do like your shirt,
Thank you.
RFK. I like it.
Thank you.
I voted third party in most elections,
Yeah.
like an asshole. You're supposed to support them and argue the points and not vote for them, but I don't know. Fucking vote what
This
you
is the
feel.
one third-party candidate that's not really an asshole.
Yeah, I like libertarian stuff too. Of just like, hey, why don't we just stop spending so much money? And
Yeah, we could
fucking-
just fix things.
maybe we just shouldn't bomb people randomly. That seems like a negative thing that we're really,
Shut up, pussy. Like, what?
really worldwide. We are known for just bombing people.
Spending a lot of money doing it.
And we had the shift, which I thought was so, not to make it political now,
At this point, who
of
gives a
like
shit?
now the lefties, like the Democrats, are just like, no, we need to support Ukraine.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, we're giving them bombs, laundering money through our military industrial complex to fucking eviscerate teenagers in a different country.
And the last time we did that, we started ISIS.
Yeah.
That's exactly
No-
how that happened.
No good. It's no good. That's what, if I ever did a Congress speech, I'd go, no good.
No good.
You're no good.
Blake, could you do me a favor and look up how much we spend on a military funding?
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
I know. And
I
you
could-
see,
I could
I'm not
tell
even...
you- I could tell you a lot of stories off mic of like shit that I saw.
Can we tell them on mic?
No.
Damn it. Okay.
They had me sign a NDA whenever
Oh,
I
right.
got out.
See, and I'm not even someone that's like, cut the military budget. But at this point, like, if we spend $55 bajillion on a warhead, can $100,000 go to, like, feed some homeless people so I don't have to?
That sounds gay.
It does sound gay,
Yeah.
but I need some old crackheads on their walker to get out of the road so I can drive my car,
Holy
and they
shit.
need to stop asking. $801 billion?
And
That's
that
a
was
number?
in 2021.
Okay, I think I've decided on one where I'm mixing what we said. I'm
Okay.
taking the dog out of it. I'm going, thanks for suggesting the follow. Very cute! Exclamation point.
It's a great one.
Okay,
You know, it's-
and on 3, 1, 2, 3, we sent it. Now this post is from June 10th.
Buddy, I love you. I did not start this, but I fully support it. I do know they're at least very friendly, so that's good.
Are they? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I think we were actually talking about this girlfriend the other night at the bar.
Were we?
No, I was me
Oh.
and him, or
Oh.
maybe I was eavesdropping into the conversation. And just
At
be-
There's
I
four
think
people
she
there at
was
a
ready
time.
for a different. She's at a different stage in life.
Oh yeah,
I'm still a dirtbag.
yeah,
That's
He's
that's a winner. She's a keeper.
yeah. I
But
mean,
this will be embarrassing.
she
and I
was
enjoy it.
settling for him, which is the exact reason she needed to get out. And
I
those are
just asked him for a spot on a show too.
He'll still give it to you.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
He's only mean to people that are lower than him. Oh, that's why he's so mean to me. God damn it! Why can't I have a good relationship? I just want mean women and mean friends.
that one's right there, man.
Yeah, yeah. That's. I really do need to go back to therapy. He needs.
What's your? No, you don't. What's your dating situation like?
Right now, I just don't want anything. Like,
Okay.
if
Are you
something
just
were to,
playing a lot of video games, beating off a little too much?
it's
Well,
like we said, this is a house run
That's not
by
good.
a man, but it's so much fun. It's so much fun.
it's short term.
I mean, it is short term because it only takes 5 minutes
Are
at
you on
most.
like?
I don't
Are
have to
you
do
on the apps
foreplay.
and things?
I am.
I
but have
miss some
come
of the
back.
apps.
It's a lot more fun than it is. It's a lot more fun for me than it is like about getting a girlfriend.
Yeah.
I like talking to different people, but not for long.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, you're a crazy person, but this was a hilarious
Oh, there were
conversation
some
to
things that like some screenshots could get some people canceled in the future if that wasn't a thing where. So I remember you used to get drunk when they like first came out and you match with a bunch of people and then like your friend would take your phone and just say awful things to people.
Horrible.
Just legitimately terrible. You're just like, oh my God.
To the point where they respond like, then why did you match with me?
But not even that. Just like, just Jesus Christ.
oh, yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that? And it's just like me saying something terrible with like my face.
Firefighter.
It's like, that wasn't me, I swear.
Oh, man, there has been a couple times where I've just been nothing but dying laughing alone in bed from just someone's genuine response to what I said.
Yeah.
Like, I would go on, and every time I accidentally matched with someone I didn't think was hot, I would just have fun. I would just say, like, my opening line was, "Are you a duck?" Send that because I like ducks. And I just wanted to see what they said.
Okay.
And the first person that ever responded without immediately unmatching was a black girl that said,
That's how you know the line is good.
it works.
Here's my
Never.
line. I still commit to it. I don't know why I'm alone.
I'm batting 0 for 1,000. But she immediately responded within like 30 seconds, what the fuck are you white people on? I was like, that's the greatest thing that could have come of this.
I like ducks.
And in all honesty, I was a little more attracted to her after that. If
Yeah,
she didn't
that's good.
unmatch, I would have kept going.
Yeah. I did. I never met anyone serious on an app where like, and my wife ended up being like a friend of a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
just met her at a party and was like, all right.
See, I, especially in college, was an alcoholic. So all the
A lot of
stories
us are.
me, yeah.
I was a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my problem, is all my friends would tell their girlfriends, like, oh, man, he's the fucking best. He threw up last night 4 times.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, can you, like, I threw up outside at least. Like, make me sound
I always
better.
did. You know, when you're like, you're not in good standing with your lady friends is when their friends are single and your name does not enter the chat in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, nah, you'll meet Jimmy if you need to meet Jimmy.
Yeah.
But
We keep Paxton around in case we need to move a mirror, which is something that literally happened. I was texting it the girl it happened with, who's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah.
She texted me the other day with a picture of it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I was just kind of a pussy that did anything. She texted me, hey, I'm 45 minutes away, and I bought a big mirror without remembering I don't have a truck. Can you come get it? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I
being
just
a
went
good
straight
dude.
out. On the way home, I'm like, does this give me any brownie points with your friends? And they're like, oh, no, I won't tell anyone about this. It's like, oh, man.
that's a good dude move.
Yeah.
I appreciate a good dude move.
You got to. I thought I broke it a couple
The
times.
world's not transactional. You can just be nice sometimes, you
Yeah,
know?
you can just be nice.
Yeah.
But also, like, closed mouths don't get fed.
That's very true.
And the thing was, like, at a certain point, they started setting me up with their friends, but it was all their crazy ones that I also got the
Oh,
stories
that
from.
is how you know where you stand.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I'm a
It's
problem.
just like, hey, we set up a date for you. You want to go on it? And it's like, oh, this is a lunatic. I had one date I was set up on. And I remember it was so funny. She complained about it afterward because we met up and I was just like, she had fucking crazy eyes.
Oh.
And she was insane. She was like successful and like pretty,
Yeah,
but you could just like talking for 15 minutes. I was like, oh,
there's a reason.
I'm out. Like even just like, but I was like, I'm not, for some reason, I was just like, I'm not gonna end this.
You have to.
She has to end this date. And so like, and I remember, I'm doing the gentleman thing and like buying her drinks at first, and like we go out to eat, and then we like go to a bar, and then I like quit buying her drinks, and then she could tell like we go to like her friend's house. We went to like 6 different places, and it took until like 3 a.m. for I'm just like didn't come inside.
Was
Was
she
like, all right,
trying
I'll
to
get
get
out
with
of
you
here.
at that point? 6 different places with one dude that you just met is a lot.
I think she was so type A that I feel like this was like now a competition of like, this motherfucker's gonna like me.
I've been there.
I will suck his dick to make him like me.
And then never text him again.
But then like afterwards she like texted my friends and was like, he was like kind of rude and like didn't pay for stuff.
Was that your worst first date?
That was up there. Yeah.
What
I haven't
was-
had a ton of like bad first dates.
Oh, man. I
think the only bad first dates are like literally the app stuff when you're just like going out to dinner with a stranger or like getting drinks or something.
Right.
And then like 20 minutes in, you're just like, I don't think we get along.
We could be friends at best, but,
But not even that. We're just like, see you later.
Yeah.
You know?
you haven't
Like,
laughed one time, and I'm throwing hip into these jokes.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm trying my best.
I feel like I was always good about that of just like, just be yourself up top.
Right.
And then if
I
they're
was
not into it, fine. No feelings are hurt. Like,
99% of the women are not going to like me, and that's giving myself some charity points.
that's everybody. That is everybody. Women don't care for us.
No, we're the worst. I
we're
completely
the worst. But you find one and it's
Look at
fine.
this house. I mean,
I got a house.
I
You
got
a house.
I've got a house, but I also don't care to update it at all. Like, this is as far as it goes, and that's just because Blake tells me to.
One room at a time. That's all you got to do.
One room at a time until I really need to sell this to go somewhere else, and that's when I'll fucking kick my ass
Yeah,
into
old
gear.
NRH. You know, God bless it. When it's called the mid cities,
Yeah,
where it's like we're in between things,
and
you
that's
know?
a stretch. It's below mid. This and the property taxes. I spent $75,000 last tax season.
75 or 7,500?
7,500.
7,500.
Okay.
7,500 on this.
Where you live in
what's-
South Lake?
What's below here? Is there a basement full of gold?
We've got the only basement around, and sometimes I go down there like Scrooge McDuck, and I just dive right in.
Do you have a basement here?
There's
Oh, okay. So like that's kind of neat. That's
Nah.
rare here.
I was actually talking with my dad because that's what we do for work. But apparently, like, they just fall apart instantly. There have been so many people that have tried to make a basement in Texas, and the walls just cave in, and things fall apart, and
Yeah.
like your first floor just becomes the basement.
Well, I think that's like the ground moves a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best not to get into this because I am technically an expert in dirt. I know I'm the most boring person on earth.
No, I'm into it.
Okay. Well, like Castle Hills, it's got an elasticity rate of 9 inches.
Yeah.
So if you buy a place,
So
over
does
by-
Blake. Am I right?
your big ass cock. Just whip it out. I mean, you got some shorts. Just like pull a leg up
I'm
a little.
not pulling my dick out.
Pussy. But yeah,
Well, I guess you really don't support RFK. All right.
he's all about it. What the fuck is wrong with his voice?
He had some disease.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just he smoked a lot or something.
Oh,
No.
he did do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
He
he's still
used
kind
to
of
do
cool.
heroin back in the day.
All right, that's my president.
It's
I'm
pretty
in.
sweet, right?
I'm back to being an
And
independent
he's
from not
open
voting.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I do like that, where it's like all the politicians that are too clean.
Yeah. You know they have.
You're just
dead
like,
bodies.
oh, what fucking, blowing dudes at airports and
It's
like,
like Clinton with
there's
the
some sort of
Epstein
monster.
shit.
Oh yeah.
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 Still, one of the greatest Trump moves of all time was having all those accusers in the front row at the him debating Hillary Clinton, and you're just like, that's a fucking move.
Everything he said was like
That's
a
a
rebuttal.
move.
It was just a rebuttal at a roast
Yeah.
battle. It was
He is a big idiot. Like,
and that was the worst part is exactly what we just said about RFK is that he was open was the thing that got Trump elected, and we're like, what the fuck did we just do?
yeah, I love I think the Chappelle joke sums it up the best.
What did he say about
Where
it?
he on SNL when he was just like, when Trump won, was talking about like the corruption and the money and stuff. And he
Right.
was just like, I know it because I've taken part in it
Oh,
for
yeah.
a long time. Like all these people I'm running against have called me many times for money. That's how this works.
He's
And
turned into
everyone
that
went
show,
like,
White Collar.
goddamn. Yeah.
He's just be the villain turned the hero just to help out.
Yeah.
It's a whole Suicide Squad situation.
There you go. We're too stupid to talk about politics. But he's
I
got,
can bring
he's
it back
got a
to
fun
movies.
shirt on. That's what started this. Just, I saw a fun shirt and I went, I like shirts.
We tried so
Hello.
hard to talk about politics, and we looked at military funding at one. Every time we tried to go smart, it was all of 30 seconds, and we're like,
We
something
had
dumb.
the dumbest I've ever felt was I got called into a deposition where it was like a fact-finding thing.
See, I already feel dumb. I don't really know what deposition
It's
means.
like the pre-trial like fact-finding where they interview everybody.
Where they find all the evidence to be admitted into court.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so they called me and I was on the ambulance when a guy got shot.
Okay.
And so I don't, not too much detail, but a fella got shot. And they call us in, and we were like, what the fuck could they possibly get from us? It's like, I didn't see who shot him. I was like, he just got shot, and I took him to the hospital.
Right. I'm the middleman.
Yeah, that's all I know. But then we get there, and you have to try to, we arrive on scene, and
Using all the $5
me and my
words.
ambulance partner assessed the situation, made sure the scene was safe. BSI scene safety, as we all know, we do first.
As we all know, no one
It's
has ever
like
heard
all the things in
BSI.
school that you forget. You're just like, oh yeah, BSI scene safe. That's of course what we do first. Are y'all gonna get mad at me if I didn't say that? And then I was like, we saw this patient. We realized that he, been shot 3 times, and they're like, how do you know how many times he was shot? And I was like, it was
3 bullet holes?
Yeah, those were the holes that I found.
I put 3 fingers to plug them up while I couldn't
Yeah,
find
and
them.
then they're like, well, how do you know he was shot? I was like, and you try to be lawyery back.
It was
and
the
it's like,
roundest knife otherwise I've ever seen.
using context clues,
I pulled a bullet out of his chest.
I was, you're just literally, but afterward, you're just like, oh god, we look like, if we get called to trial, we're gonna look like fucking morons. It was like, he was shot because he said he got shot, and I found holes in him. And like, how do you know those holes were made with bullets? It's like, I don't know, but they were holes, and he didn't have holes beforehand. And
I seen a bullet hole a time or two. My pappy Uncle Cletus would shoot things sometimes, and he'd always point. That's a 30-07 right there. So I know some bullet holes.
So they lawyered it up where you're just like, and they weren't like being attacking or anything. They were just doing lawyer stuff. You were just like.
They're doing their job.
Will you stop making me sound dumb?
I don't fucking know. Like, he heard gunshots. 3 things entered him.
He said ow, and then called us.
It could have been, I don't know, maybe someone threw 3 things real fast at him. I don't know, lady. I don't know that he was shot. So, like, my whole thing, like, fell apart. It's like, I don't know. Like, maybe he wasn't shot, but...
And then they start getting you on that where they repeat what you said. So, he might have been shot. You weren't sure? Shit,
why am I here? Why am I here? But they ended up not using us in the case.
I wonder why.
No, literally, we were laughing about it where it's like they had no information to gain from us. It was like because they caught the guy that shot him.
Yeah.
And so they just call everyone in that was involved in it. And they're just like, we're going to talk to these 2 idiots, me and Balls. Which, short for Balderas. Which I always laugh at, like, the weird little funny things that happen in an ambulance when, like, I'll be asking him things, and it's like a very serious patient, but I call him Balls, and so
what's wrong with my balls? No, not you.
This person's like dying, and I'm like, hey, Balls, will you grab that? Like, just quit saying balls around me while I'm dying.
I can't remember whose joke it was, but it was like having the quack ringtone for your phone and then answering bad news. You're like, my wife's in the hospital. Hey, what's what? She's been shot?
That is great.
So what's the worst thing, like, not worst as in bad, but worst as in dumbest thing you've ever been called on?
So the dumbest thing is, man, I'm trying to, like, categorize now. Well, I don't think people realize, like, I work in, like, a bad part of a big city, and you make a lot of calls that are nonsense. And so, like, people call for things that, like, where their primary care.
Right.
It's like that's a thing that they will say in paramedic school. It's like, we graduated, a guy came in and was like, you're ghetto doctors now. And it's true, where it's like you are so many people's primary care.
You're
where
a
it's
step
like
above a vet in the mob.
You are like a thing you would go to an urgent care or just go to a CVS and buy some Tums. It's like there's a large part of the population that calls 911
just immediately
and has me come out and she's like, what's going on? Like, okay, we can figure this out.
They just got supplemental income just to spend on an ambulance
call. Well,
call.
they don't.
Oh.
Well, the trick is you just don't pay them. If you're not worried about your credit being bad, the world's your oyster.
Yeah, if your credit's
now,
already bad,
you're not getting out of anywhere, which is a problem in itself. But like, and then there's a lot of like, we don't have the best homeless services for people, and so you get that where like the public transportation will like shut down at a certain point in time in the evening.
Yeah,
and like around that time you get a bunch of calls. Because they have to go boot it because the guy will, panhandle for a couple bucks, get a ticket.
Right.
So he can go sit in the AC for a while and just ride around DFW in a train. And then when that clock strikes 10, they boot him. And he goes, my chest hurts. And the dark cops are fucking fat and lazy and go, we'll call you an ambulance. And then we show up. And you can't like prove chest pain,
right?
So it's like it's that person's subjective feeling. So like you kind of have to take them.
Just be a sore tit muscle, but
yeah, well, they don't even have it. They understand the system and how to use it. So you got to take them to the hospital, and all their vitals are fine. And you just like tell the charge nurse like, hey, chest pain, vitals are fine. Pick them up from the DART station, and they'll go put them up in the front, where like in triage in the front of the ER where everyone goes and enters.
Right.
And they'll go sit there.
And they just need a place to sit.
And they're like, this is ideal. It's like, I don't get the sandwich from a room. If I get a room, I get a sandwich. So if the hospital's not busy, I'm in sandwich territory. That's positive. And then if the hospital is busy, I'm going to go sit inside until they ask me to leave as well. And so it's like they all win-win for everybody.
And then at that point,
except for me. Which is like one of those things when you do a thing for a long time, you get like salty where you're just like, man, fuck this guy. Like,
do you
but
get-
then it's like, you know,
Do you get repeat people?
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
There's a lady that lives like down the street from our station that we run on constantly, once a day.
Holy shit.
There was a different shift that preemptively ran on her one time because she calls at like 3 a.m. and wants a breathing treatment. And so they were coming back from a run and they just popped in. They like knocked on her apartment door and were like, hey, I'm not going to say her name, but she's like, hey, by any chance, do you want a breathing treatment? And she was like, oh, yeah, I do.
I was
And
just
like,
about to call.
And
I
she
got
was like,
9 and
okay,
1.
well, hey, can you just get a good night's sleep? Make sure you don't call tonight. And then she called at 3 a.m. again. And they're just like, God damn it.
You bitch.
We told you. We gave you the breathing treatment.
Give you an inch and you take a mile.
But and she doesn't particularly need it, but she just calls and that's,
Right.
you get a lot of that.
I would ask my boss that same question when he was doing it, and he did it over here in Grapevine.
Yeah.
And he would
Pretty
have a
gay.
house call. Yeah.
Suburbs are gay.
Suburbs are pretty gay. But
I got
he
a
did
buddy,
have.
kid I played football with, Tyler Sullivan, works at Grapevine.
Oh, okay.
So
I probably accidentally ran
Yeah.
into him going to pick up a check, but he also has control over Grapevine Lake, so he does search and rescue stuff. So a little
Okay.
less gay. Little
it's
less.
still pretty gay.
Still pretty gay.
They
But-
have. I'm certified in diving and all that stuff, and the cops do it in our city. So,
Oh,
but
the
it's
cops do it?
yeah,
Huh.
but it's still like not fun work
No.
to go fish bodies out of the Trinity,
Yeah, you're hoping she swam away.
which she didn't.
No.
Or it's like, you know, there's so many like Netflix things about like awful things happening, but it's like 99% of those calls are fishing dead bodies out of gross water.
Yeah.
And so then you're like in muddy water you can't see, so you're just like feeling around. Not fun work, you know?
You feel an eyeball or something.
Yeah.
No, but their most frequent call was a 600-pound woman that would constantly have bed sores, and
Gross.
the call was, "I need you to come flip me over," shit like that.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, like you said, one of my bosses got salty. And he's like, "Why do you keep fucking calling us? You have a doctor that comes and does this the other days of the week. Why do you need us to do it?" And she's like, "I just want 6 strong men to put their hands on my body." I was like, "Oh."
Well, you do see that. I hate being serious.
It's like,
People are supposed to have home health and like you can call CPS and get people put, but it's very hard to take someone's freedom away
Mhm.
without like a lot of paperwork and a lot of reason and the family being behind it.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people like their family doesn't give a fuck about them. They're in a bad situation, can't take care of themselves.
Someone's got to
The
come
free,
change the bedpan.
the free home health nurse that shows up from somewhere,
She's just a rude lady.
she doesn't come half the days, stays for half the time, doesn't do a damn thing.
Right.
And then so like we show up and we're like, all right, well, we'll get you out of here.
Yeah. And that's so funny because one of my biggest veins on TikTok recently has been the famous paramedic on TikTok. And I go through
Who's the
this.
famous paramedic on TikTok?
I can't remember his name, but he's a yoked, bald white dude. And he looks like Jocko Willis, basically.
Oh, is he the puts a fake mustache on sometimes?
Maybe if he's playing like a different character.
Has fire department coffee.
Maybe.
Okay.
I might have Blake look this one up.
Firefighter Fenton.
Okay, I don't think so. Because
Okay.
I don't think he technically does the firefighter side. I think he's mostly a paramedic.
Oh, really?
But all of his fucking videos are crazy. And he obviously says
Wait.
based on a true story. You might be right. I'm often wrong.
Comedy responded and just said, "Why are we friends?"
Oh.
Sorry
What's
to
funny is
interrupt.
that's a constant question that people ask about Jacob
and
all
he
the time.
He messaged me separately and goes, "You are unbelievable." All caps. All caps. Unbelievable. God fucking damn it, Jimmy. Your timing couldn't be worse too.
Oh man, I just said they were doing well too.
Objectively hilarious. Subjectively, you are the worst.
I told you he couldn't be mean to you. You're still gonna get the show.
No, I was fucking with him earlier. I did one of those comedy kickbacks he does
Yeah.
when it was at the hotel,
Right.
and I was asking like, "Hey, they have the club now?" And I'm like, what did I say to him? I was like, "Please, sir, may I have some more porridge?" So just asking for a thing, but then I was polite afterward. Like, it is cool that he's running a new show. It like does well. It's at a new club. It's all good.
Yeah, and
A good guy.
I love and he's bestowed, I think, Fort Brewery onto me. I think we worked together on it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that I have the opportunity to do that. But the thing I love more is him assiding to me of the people that are texting for big laugh opportunities.
Oh, really?
That should not be texting him.
I get it, where it's don't message. If you don't know somebody wants you, there's a thing of like introducing yourself to someone that doesn't know you. Because I'm trying to get like headline dates now.
Yeah.
And so you got to email a club, you get the booker's name, you like email and be like, hey, and it's very businessy. It's like, I got this many followers. I have contacts in the area that have expressed interest in wanting to go to a show. I got an email list, and then you like find a date, a one-nighter that you see on their website's not available, and you're like, could I do this date? It's like, I think I could sell at least 70, 80 tickets.
Right.
So you're giving them only reasons to say yes. It's like, I'm paying my own way. I don't need booking. Like,
I'll do whatever you want.
Just let me
do some
do
time.
it. And so but they get 1,000 of those every day.
Oh, yeah.
And so for them to like pick up on it and be like, they're good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have you in.
And 500 of them are from people that just do open mics.
Yeah.
They've got to filter through all of that,
Yeah.
too.
So
and
it's
actually find
so
the
hard.
headliner.
You got to like, it's a numbers game. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
any emailing thing. No one takes that seriously, but
Do bookers, would a booker in this area hook you up with a booker in, Oklahoma? Or is that kind of frowned upon? Because
no. Like, what do you mean by booker?
I'm not
Like
gonna
a
say any
booking
names.
agent or like a person that runs shows or like
a person that runs shows through clubs here, even. Say, for
Okay.
example, like the booker at DCC,
Yeah.
whoever that may be.
Yeah.
Would that person...
The booker at one club probably doesn't know the booker at another club.
Okay. So
It's
there's
like
not like an underground of
those
that.
contacts. Well, they're like just businesses and local, and there's like improvs that are chained up.
Right.
Which not even like all the improvs aren't chained up, but there are people like there's multiple Funny Bones, there's multiple Looney Bins, there's multiple.
And
The Bricktown people have Bricktown, OKC, Tulsa. They have a room in Washington and a room in
cool.
Wisconsin or Michigan. I
I
forget.
thought they were all Oklahoma. That's cool that they have some more.
Now there's a few of them.
Have you heard the story about the Addison or the Improv owner now? Like how he got all that? So the guy that owns Addison Improv now, all right, so I heard this from a guy, so it might be wrong, and I'm often wrong, so who knows. But he was a guy that just worked door at one of the improvs and also allegedly sold Coke. And he would use that as like, oh, you don't got Coke money? Give me a share.
Yeah.
And then just over time, he just kept, oh, you don't have Coke money? Give me a share. Give me a share. Give me a share. And then he got to like 40. The other guy had to get out, and he's like, I hold majority. Now I own all the improvs. So just the Coke guy owns the improvs.
Don't believe it, but it's a very funny story.
I hope it's true.
I hope it's true. I hope it's true.
It's a magical moment that
Sillier
it's probably
things have
not true.
happened. Yeah. But to finish the point, like, I don't know, all that stuff comes from like comedians,
Right.
where it's like where you have not authority is the wrong word, but like
Reputation.
yeah, reputation. It's like I could help you get local shows with bookers, or like I headline stuff in like East Texas and rural places.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're like, hey, can you get me in at the fucking Mic Drop Comedy in San Diego? And it's just like, no, I can't. If you get outside of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas,
Yeah.
I'm of no assistance.
That's what I've heard, is that the funnel is you got to work Oklahoma and Arkansas first, and that's like the first step of like working traveling.
Yeah.
And then what's like the next step from there? Is it like Louisiana and Florida, or
I'm trying to figure that shit out now too. No, I think it's we have a good I think the Dallas comedy scene's great, like DFW, and there's so much stuff in like Austin and Houston, which both have their own scenes with their own people, and San Antonio is kind of an extension. But you just like start getting work, and it literally happens very slowly, and it sucks. Like because middling, like Chris Porter's bringing me on the road with him to Houston.
oh sweet,
But like other than that, I
you
would
said that.
not. Houston Improv would not call me
right?
because Houston has a great scene. There's 25 people that could fill that job. They're not calling an out of towner. They got to pay for housing now. Like
Yeah,
it's just not what they want to do. Or like, you can offer to pay for it yourself, but then like you're not first of mind because you're not there constantly.
right.
And so you kind of just like figure out how to get work at certain clubs, and then you just expand that to where Oklahoma and Arkansas are drivable and have clubs that will book people.
Right.
So you like figure out how to get in there, and then once you're featuring enough, where you're like building an act and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm still there where it's like, I can headline, I do headline, but like, I'm not a headliner.
Right.
Because headliners headline all the time.
Right.
It's like, I'm a person that can do 45
You're stepping into
and entertain people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, you could pay me to do 45 minutes tonight and I will go do it.
Right.
But nobody knows who I am. I can't, I'd have to like have a lead up time to sell any tickets. Because it's a business where it's like, you just have to sell the tickets. So you have to like, people have to know who the fuck you are.
Right. Yeah.
And so featuring people don't figure out who you are. So it's like that connection with other comedians and putting shit out online. And
yeah, I've had to start telling myself, like, especially after really good or really bad sets, I walk off and go, this is at least going to take you 10 years. At best, this is going to take you 10 years.
Yeah. Like it's corny saying it takes 10 years to make an overnight success.
Right.
But and then I think it's also like a good thing too, where I would encourage you to not post stand-up content rarely. Like,
yeah.
I've done it before where I've put myself on like a schedule and be like, I'm posting a clip a week because Andrew Scholes said so. And then I do it for like 20 weeks. And then like a few of the clips, I'm like, I don't really care for that much, but I got to put it out. I tell longer stories too. So like the 60-second time constraint isn't really a thing for me all the time.
And now TikTok is like, you can post 10-minute videos. Like,
yeah.
Who is that going to help? No one watches
nobody.
A 10-minute video on TikTok.
But I don't know. It's just like, just give yourself time to figure it out. And then, post the podcast stuff.
Yeah. That's been the best part is I get to post content excessively and it's not any sort of stand-up. Thank Christ, because I fucking piece of shit together. But, so you did just post a few rounds of what you did at Dallas Hyenas on TikTok, and those were all really funny. That's how I heard about the... Oh, you just told a story, and
the autographs thing.
Yes, the autographs thing. I saw that on TikTok first, and I fucking love that joke. Is that something that you've burnt and are pushing away from, or is that still
no?
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Is because
people like I don't know. I've had a couple podcast clips get like. We had one that got like 550,000 views or something.
Jesus Christ.
But still, that's like the first one that did that good.
Yeah.
But like, it's not uncommon for things to get like 10,000 or a couple thousand. And then, half of them get 200 and you're like, well, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, if you think of the people in a room at a show in a place are not that 10,000 people randomly on the internet.
Yeah.
Who of that 10,000, 900 of them actually listened to it.
Exactly.
And only 40 of them liked it, where it's like,
Of those 40 people, one of those people is a lunatic comedy fan who remembers things word for word like we did when we watched comedy specials.
Yeah, you're not burning anything.
That's what I've heard people say. Is like, oh, you got to do crowd work if you want to post anything because you can't burn. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter until 15 years from down the road when people are... No one has paid to come and see
people
me
have got to be tuning in for you to burn stuff.
Right. We haven't had a bunch of videos do really well, but we've also had, like you said, a bunch of videos not even get 200, but 0. Or me and Blake fucking watch the video, and that's it.
I always laugh about that with Scott on YouTube. We'll have some shorts that'll have like 4 views and 1 like, and I'll be like, that was me.
Yeah. I mean, because we're an hour and 45 minutes into the podcast, I feel okay to say this. If you go into the comment sections and notice some guy named Beltray Tarrant comments on literally everying... Hi, how's it going?
Is that you?
Yeah.
Do you actually have a name?
That's you?
Yeah, that's me.
I have a guy
Adrian
that
Beltray
comments on
and
things called Nipplefucker69. And I've never... Let me see if I can...
Interact with him.
Nipplefucker... Okay, here I got some pulled up. So he would just comment on all my stuff. It has to be a friend. But I don't know who. I think it's my buddy Clint, but he denies it like vehemently. And so it was like a random clip. And he just goes, actually been doing some traveling lately. Just catching up on your videos, Jimbo. Good stuff. Keep on keeping on. Love to see it. I ended up leaving from Schenectady about 4 months ago and lost touch with my phone not shortly after. Would you believe there was a midget in the train? He got off in Chicago, so I ended up getting off too in more ways than one. Anyways, long story short, they got me when I stopped off in Gary, Indiana.
They got me.
And it was an overall nice day. Raymond Adler is a fine attorney, and I would recommend him to my grandmother if she wasn't such a slut. God bless.
Dude, either your friend or a random person is the coolest fucking
He's
person in
hilarious.
the world.
So this is
Just
he
gave
goes,
you a Yelp review.
he goes, I love tacos too. Tacos of the pink variety, that is. Would you rather be diagnosed with Legionnaire's disease or a ruptured colon lining? God bless. He ends it with God bless.
He's got too much time on his
And then he
hands.
commented on that own comment and goes, my great aunt, Myrtle Turdstein, was diagnosed with a ruptured colon lining in 1932 at age 73 and had to wear a colostomy bag until her death in 1984. She saved her first bag and we ended up burying her with it. She loved that colostomy bag, and I take solace in imagining her filling it with her feces in heaven. I can't say that I have ever seen a midget wear a colostomy bag, though, which seems suspicious. God bless.
Oh, dude, those are fucking
was-
awesome.
Wait,
we got more.
wasn't that a different comment? He just brought up a midget again?
I think he brought up colon lining and had more to say.
But he brought up a midget
He
again.
brings
in
up
a
midgets
big-
regularly. That show, Revenge on ABC, was always pretty decent.
Were you talking about that show?
No. And he goes, Emily Van Camp really came into her own as a drama actress. Trial by fire, I always say. God bless. On my 8th birthday, my meemaw, Francine Turnhampton, brought out a full platter of cheese sandwiches, and I was able to sneak one into my pocket for safekeeping. I ended up taking it to school the next day and gave it to Cynthia Rapplesmith at recess
fucking
to
names.
touch my jeans underneath the medium-sized slide. It was pretty cool. God bless.
God bless.
I'll just do 2 more.
This needs to be a part
There's
of
like, and this is like he's done this, like there's probably 20 of these just floating out on old videos. I'll never forget the first time I stayed in a hotel. My uncle, Philbert Kursturd.
These names are great.
Every name has like a turd in it somehow. My uncle Philip Kursturd was running a 6-room bed and breakfast out of a 600 square foot cabin he owned in Blue Mound, Kansas from 1973 to 1992. He's living on the street somewhere in Nebraska now with his homewrecker wife, Grace Ann Juckle Turd Kursturd. There's a hyphen in there.
Of course. Why would there not be?
Juckle Turd Kursturd. That he met in a hot yoga class. We were all set to visit him for the barley harvest of '83 and reserved 2 of the rooms at his bed and breakfast for the 9 of us. Whenever we got there, Uncle Philbert had double booked the room, so we ended up going to the Red Roof Inn over in Iola. It was a pretty good experience. God bless. Just nothing happened in that.
It's the most pointless story.
Let's see. I think we got a midget thing here. There is chatter amongst medical professionals that midgets actually start getting boners at age 9, and on average, in quotation. Yet a normal person doesn't achieve initial erection until age 12, on average. God bless. I fucking love those. Whenever they pop up, I'm just like, it's YouTube started filtering them out, so I quit getting notifications for it, and I was so disheartened because would save them, and then there was like 10 more that I didn't respond to, and I was like, I'm sorry, nipple fucker, 69. He's since gone away. I think the last one was a few months ago. But
Oh, no.
yeah,
I think the best one I ever had, I was talking about an old friend of mine who was just a country bumpkin, and I loved
Yeah.
him dearly. And all I said was, the funniest thing he ever said, and it's funnier than I'll ever be, was, I swear to God, I'm not a goat fucker. Out of nowhere. It was silent in the room. We were sitting there watching a football
he was
game.
thinking about it.
He was thinking about it hardcore.
Yeah,
Does not watch, follow, like, or adhere to any of my videos I post. I post that one, still does not like it or anything like that. He just comments, I swear to God, I'm not a goat fucker.
he who smelt it dealt it, is what I say.
Oh, fuck, I miss him dearly.
Oh.
Did he pass away?
No, I just,
Talking to him is
Yeah, you can fucking call the guy.
yeah. I try to. I think I did something like that I don't remember because
Yeah.
it's been just
You're 23.
yeah,
Yeah, that happens.
Did you fuck his goat?
you're right.
There's so many people that I'm 34, acting like I'm a grandpa giving sage advice. You get older, your fucking world gets smaller.
Yeah, you get 3 people.
I got 4 great friends, a lot of people I'm excited to see.
Right.
And you just move into the excited to see column.
Yeah.
Where it's I'm not catching up. Every now and then you run into them, you're like, oh shit. I probably should stay in touch with this fella. This was fun.
And then you just forget.
And
right
you just
after that.
don't.
Yeah.
And then it's just how shit works.
Yeah, man. He was. If I didn't have him in college, it would have been a very different experience for me. He was a couple like 24 or 25 when I met him, so I was 18.
Yeah.
He was
Was he still in college?
Yeah, but he was doing it like he had a full-time job and was doing part-time
Yeah.
school. He lived on a house off campus. He was a wild game guide, so we always cooked for us for free.
Nice.
And
This is
he-
when you were still in the I want to be a game warden phase?
Yeah, it was kind of hanging around with this dude. It was a little bit of the reason that I went off the deep end with alcohol because he was so good at drinking. He was so
Nobody's
good at drinking.
good at drinking. You just haven't realized you have a problem yet.
Yeah.
I was always the crazy guy that could drink a ton. And then you're like, oh no, that's just you were just coming to terms with having a poor relationship with alcohol.
Yeah, you can just stand a blackout and poison or alcohol poisoning way longer than anyone else.
Yeah.
I almost
You
died
just
in a
haven't
lake.
died.
There was definitely a time where I was with some friends hanging out and we had broken into, now that I think about it, we had definitely broken into someone's lake house on Lake Granbury.
Good.
We were hanging with some chick that we had never met before. She's
Revolver
like,
Brewing. I'm familiar with the area.
do you like it? Because I've heard terrible things about
I like
Revolver.
it. It's fine.
Okay.
The actual the beer's good and the brewery was kind of cool. It was like a family friendly area and
No, well, okay.
breweries are all the same.
Yeah. they
We
really
can
are.
talk about
It's
that.
all shitty beer.
Well,
like,
so I like the fancy beers, you know.
okay.
But like I think a Hefeweizen that somebody makes, every brewery makes a thing, an IPA. If you ask me to like taste test and tell you which one came from where, I'm just like, no, you go to a brewery,
This one is-
it's a fun event. And
This
then,
one is good. This one is bad. I wish it was tequila.
Yeah.
That's my whole. I can't do beer anymore. It hurts my stomach.
really.
Yeah, I did it too much, and now I don't do it at all. And when I go back, I'm a puss. Like it is.
I get it.
That and something about hitting a 2 tequila stride for me now that I've come back from a year off from drinking and that
Yeah.
whole thing. I'm like 2 tequila stride, that's perfect. I found my my limit. Oh Jesus Christ! I might
Yeah.
not have.
I did a joke about it with like where I quit drinking the most was I don't drink at my own house anymore.
Oh,
Like
that's
we
where I
don't
love
even
to drink.
keep. It's the only place I liked it.
Yeah.
Where it's not expensive, and I would catch myself like doing nothing that evening, and like I'd have 3 whiskeys,
Yeah.
and you're like a little hungover at work the next morning. You're like crazy night, and you're like, no, fucking watched HGTV with my wife, and just got wasted for no reason. And I always describe it as sitting on your couch having too much to drink, as like floating the river, where you don't realize it because you're just laying down floating, and then you stand up. And it looks like everyone getting out of D-Day, just fucking college girls elbowing over broken glass, and just like oh my,
gotta go.
like you stand up from the couch and you're just like, oh shit,
You fall back.
a
into the
mistake
couch.
has been made.
Yeah, I knew it was bad, and I had to stop drinking when I would regularly get blackout drunk on my couch and drink bottles and handles of whiskey in my underwear. Like that was normal. And
Yeah,
then
that's
I
not
had
good.
made a drinking game out of Trump versus Biden's presidential debate,
Yeah,
and I got blackout drunk so fast. He said,
I think you could make any game, and I think you would have gotten blackout drunk.
"Oh yeah, I should just start making a game to get blackout drunk." Like,
Yeah.
it's just all right and
Drink
you
when
win.
thing happens,
Yeah.
and a thing happened.
Did you breathe? You win. Good job.
I got to pee real bad.
That's same here.
Okay.
What I think we'll probably do is go pee, come back for like 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and then
for sure.
close out. So
He's just gonna deep fake AI me saying the N word and get me fired. Gotcha, bitch. Like,
at that point,
no,
you just gotta wait 6
I
weeks.
have a baby. I can't.
I'm a dad now.
I need a job.
So this is just a random thing I found on TikTok earlier, but so what Blake is showing you right now is something or some
Looks like a
group
Beatles
called the
cover
Gang.
band.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
but it turns out all these members of this gang that are known for something. Blake, if you scroll back, okay, Freddie Jones, Daphne Blake, Velma Dinkley, and then I'm assuming the 4th Norville Rogers is who Shaggy's supposed to be.
Okay.
it's
Oh, is this
Shaggy
like who they're
Rogers.
based on?
Apparently. So, Blake, will you do us a favor and look up the gang so we can kind of see what they did? It might also help if you type
Oh,
in.
this is gonna be a tough Google.
Yeah, the
You
gang.
got it?
Type in real life Scooby Doo.
It's a good one.
Buddy, are you dyslexic? And you're trying really hard?
Reach my
Okay.
keyboard.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just thought I got 2 different podcast producers in a row with dyslexia.
No, all the wires are above my keyboard, so I have to like.
Oh, it's gonna be all Scooby Doo.
How is it?
Yeah.
Oh man. Nickname. Damn, dude. I really did not want this to blue ball me.
You just got blue balled.
Yeah, dude. It's gonna give a shit like Scrappy Doo at this point.
Ooh.
Okay, real life Scooby Doo mystery villains.
Oh no, this is real villains.
Patch Eye Pete in the hall. What the fuck? Oh man, that really just fell to nothing.
Did that video not have click play and see what happens?
I think you typed it into that. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, if it doesn't have anything, bitch, I love drugs, fuck Ronald Reagan. Okay, that's what the song title is. It's great.
We'll see if we can find that.
That's a
Freddie
good song.
Jones. I think they might have just photoshopped in people.
Yeah, this might
yeah.
be a AI fake.
I hate when people lie to me because I'm so easily coerced. I just want things to be real. Blake, click on the comments just in case there's like a link somewhere.
Oh, that's actually the characters' names. And
I do not have a TikTok account.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Oh, so they just grabbed 4 different people and
they just grabbed 4 random old mugshots.
Damn, dude.
This is almost cool.
I was swindled so easily.
Yeah.
I've been so excited for that TikTok this whole podcast.
I like that they were only operational for like 10 months.
Yeah, I really need to know what they did.
The guy on the right, is that Dustin Hoffman?
Dude, that is Dustin Hoffman.
Oh
Holy
my god,
shit.
I'm a fucking idiot,
That is
dude.
Dustin Hoffman. That's in
Welcome back
Urban
to the
Cowboy
Yeah.
or Midnight Cowboy.
welcome
Yeah.
back to the Dingbat District.
All right, well.
Fuck me.
And you emailed that to the producer
I
to be
did.
like, I found something.
Blake, you're never gonna believe it.
I did some digging. I found some truth.
Ah.
Dustin Hoffman was Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Technically, he was Shaggy.
Yeah. Yeah, Scooby was the
Topher
dog.
Grace over here was Freddie Jones. Man, that hurts my feelings. Damn it.
I do love now realizing that's Dustin Hoffman.
That is 100% Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
171.6 thousand likes. There you go.
Well, I wasn't the only one that was swindled.
Yeah.
At least 100,000 other people were.
Dustin Hoffman
Dustin
and
Hoffman and
Shaggy.
Shaggy.
Okay. The second comment. You didn't read a lot of the comment. You didn't do a lot of digging here. That's Dustin Hoffman. The 4th comment.
Why is Rogers Dustin?
Apparently a lot of people saw that.
Wait, the Manson mugshots.
Okay, Blake.
Dustin Hoffman.
Blake, go up just a little bit. Okay, Michael Justine, Bernadine Dorm, and Diana Otten. Grab those and see if they're who they are.
Oh, those are
Are they all famous people?
no, the Manson killers or the cult.
I don't think
Are they?
so. Maybe.
Diana Otten. That name does sound familiar.
Oh, the Weather Underground. Okay. Are they all Weather Underground people?
I don't know.
What is Weather Underground?
The first people that bombed the White House? Not the
Oh.
first, like the third.
Wow, she was a pretty lady for knowing how to work a bomb. Oh, how have I never heard about this?
I can, now that you've asked, this is like me saying a big word and you asked me to define it, and I'm like, it's
You are
okay.
Oddball History.
I know, right?
Yeah.
This wasn't me coming at you. This was more me coming at the school system. Because,
Yeah.
like, if you would have just taught me cool history shit, like Vikings or this,
Yeah.
I would have paid attention in
No,
class.
they were like a real lefty organization in like the late 60s, early 70s, and they were like radical and bombed a bunch of shit and would like catch buildings on fire.
Did they have one thing in, like, was there one thing, like, there's down with big business?
peace
or-
and love through
Okay.
violence?
Yeah, peace and love through blowing shit up. Okay, Michael Justine is a former member of the Students of Democratic Society.
Click
World-
Weather Underground.
Yeah, Weather Underground organization. The Weather Underground was a far-left Marxist militant organization first active in 1969, found in Ann Arbor campus of University of Michigan.
Go
Otherwise
blue.
known-
Is that the wrong time for that?
No, you nailed it.
Okay,
Oh, the
okay.
Time coincided with the Chicago 7.
Chicago 7. Well, Blake, click on that. I got some things to watch now. Chicago 7.
Originally Chicago 8.
One guy got kicked out. Charged the United States Department of Justice with conspiracy, crossing state lines with intent to incite a riot, and other charges related to anti-Vietnam War.
Was Vietnam that bad?
We got a lot of cool songs out of it.
I know, right?
Fucking
What would folk music be?
Creedence Clearwater Revival would have never
Yeah.
had a chance
Yeah.
without all of that song being in every war movie.
Yeah. White Rabbit from Jefferson Airplane.
That one I don't know.
You don't know that one? That's on Platoon. You ever seen Platoon?
I've seen it, but I couldn't tell you which one it was. I only know Jefferson Starship for their song Jane from White Hot American Summer.
Ooh.
It's a great show. Have you seen that?
Is that the Netflix one?
Yeah, but there was an original one, and then they redid it when they were like 20 years old.
I remember the original one was like, it was one of those ones Comedy Central played like 10 times a week.
Yeah, that's exactly how I saw it. It was that, and it was all like the big. They weren't SNL people, but that weird group of famous people in like late aughts, I guess.
No, the Upright Citizens Brigade.
Upright, is that their group?
Yeah, that was like Amy Poehler and Matt Walsh.
Oh, I didn't know that was their name.
Okay, they have like locations in like L.A. It's a big one, in New York, and so it was like Amy. I don't know all their names. I just know Amy Poehler and Matt Walsh were the two main ones.
Right. The other people I remember were like Ed Hader and oh shit, I just had a couple. Oh, H. John Benjamin was like always the old guy.
Where they were like one of the first big improv people that like started
really?
blowing up and doing stuff. And
I
that
didn't
was
realize
like
they were in
Mr.
improv.
Show was around then, and that was in Second City was going. Second City been going and blowing for a while, but
Very different, but that was probably around the time of Crank Anchors, wasn't it?
no,
Like-
before then.
Okay.
Oh, the show, yeah, but
Oh,
Upright Citizen Brigade was like before then.
Oh, okay.
The show might
group.
not have been, but
Yeah.
like the group had been around for a while.
Okay. I'll have to look into them.
Yeah, it's actually like that's fun comedy history stuff.
That
Of
would be
like-
a fun tangent to go into on the y'all's podcast, just like the comedy history of things.
Yeah, just do like a random. That'd actually probably a good episode. I'd like that.
That'd be fun. It's something different that none of us talk about. Like we all know
Yeah.
the small shit. Like I can't tell you how many podcasts in a row I've said it on, but like I loved learning about shit like Patrice O'Neal throwing a phone book at Kevin Hart on stage at the stand,
So he could stand on it.
just because he sucked. I love. We need to bring bullying.
Did you
back.
ever see the Kevin Hart set when he was like 19
No.
and he just crushes? It was
Oh,
great.
really?
It was all like,
Yeah.
he's still new at comedy, but he's fucking Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
And he's just like, it's all short jokes, and it was hilarious though.
I really loved Kevin Hart up until he did that dumb fucking special in his house, in his pajamas.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think specials are so hard to, it's a stupid name, but to make them special. Where it's like, and now it's like a calling card of just to have a thing where like it's a credit almost.
Mm-hmm.
And you like the big names feel like they have to put one out periodically to like
Right.
stay relevant.
Well, fuck it. It's because of Louis C.K. He fucked it for everyone.
Oh
just
yeah,
putting out
everyone
one
put
a
one a
year.
year, and it's like, no, even he shouldn't have done that.
No.
Which he's one of the best ever.
Right.
He's a Mount Rushmore guy. But yeah, there's just too many of them.
So, okay, that's a fun one that we haven't talked about since the very first episode. Who would be your Mount Rushmore of comics?
How many presidents are on Mount Rushmore? 4 or 5? 4.
I think there's 5.
No. There's 4. It's originally Washington, Lincoln, Teddy Roosevelt?
No, Google that shit.
Well, I know for a fact that there are 4 on there. This is the one thing I'll stand on business on this podcast. I'm wrong about everything else.
4 heads.
Yeah.
Blake,
Washington,
you fucking idiot.
Jefferson.
Why
that-
are you? God damn it. Okay.
Teddy Roosevelt seems... That's got to be him, but he seemed so...
Man, so as
Later.
far as like my favorites or people I look up to the most, like Lucy K and Bill Burr are always like my top 2.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go Norm Macdonald because he's the most like repeatable thing. I'll go watch his old Conans like
Right.
2 or 3 times a year. Like
Yeah.
the moth joke, I love. Like
the
I
dog
show-
joke.
the dog joke.
Yeah.
Which
Oh,
one?
the dog house joke?
Yeah.
I know that one word for word.
Tell it.
So a man meets his brand new neighbor.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Tell it though. I love this joke.
Walks out
It
to
took me a
meet his
second.
brand new neighbor. He asks him what he does. The neighbor says, "Oh, I'm a professor of logic and reasoning at the local university." And he goes, "Oh, what is that?" And he goes, I can't really explain it. I got to describe it to you. Do you have a doghouse? He goes, "Yeah, I do have a doghouse." He goes, "Okay, reasonably speaking, you probably have a dog." He goes, "Okay, yeah, I do have a dog." "Do you have kids?" He goes, "How did you know that?" And he goes, "Well, if you have a dog, it's likely you have kids." "Okay. If you got kids, probably got a wife." He goes, "Man, that's incredible. They leave. He meets with his other neighbor. The guy.
So then he goes, so you're a heterosexual man.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're a heterosexual man.
Yeah. So from you having a doghouse, I can deduce that you're a heterosexual man.
Right. Okay, I left the big part out. But
it's very important for the punchline.
Norm meets up with his other neighbor. The other neighbor asks about the new neighbor.
Yeah.
Norm says, "Oh, well, he's a professor of logic and reasoning at the local university." New neighbor asks, "What the hell is that?" And he goes, "Well, it's easier if I just show you. Do you have a doghouse?" He goes, "No." I go, "Oh, so you're a f***ing."
Yeah, he had so many great ones. Or like his
because the light was on.
The moth joke was great. I loved the ESPYs he did.
Oh yeah.
Where he was just like, and the Darren Woodson, the first defensive player to ever win a Heisman Trophy. No one can take that away from you unless you murder your neighbor unless you murder the waiter and your wife.
If I'm trying to,
but it was in the context of him being fired for being mean to OJ, like just so great. Or his like SNL monologue. It's like, well, I got fired a year ago for not being funny enough, so either I got funnier or SNL sucks. Yeah. So number 4. Number 4 is hard because man, there's so many people I love that like I look up to because it's such a different thing from what I do.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like I love Rory Scovel and like Pete Holmes. I love.
It's why I love Mitch.
But
Hedberg.
then you're like Mitch Hedberg, and then you're like leaving off Dave Chappelle of Mount Rushmore. You got to give him on Mount Rushmore.
I think he doesn't count. I think he's kind of just above all else, and
He
I can
is
make
kinda-
the same argument for Louis C.K.
Yeah.
Because anyone that doesn't say Louis C.K. is even on their list,
Yeah.
I get everything's subjective, but what are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's definitely on mine. Bill Burr's on mine. I got to go see him at the Moody, which was fucking incredible.
Yeah. I saw Bill Burr. I've seen him like probably 6 times.
My
dad and I used to travel around and see him.
Really?
Like, so we saw him in like a couple times in Louisiana at weird little old, like those Art Deco theaters, like the Majestic in downtown. It's kind of our equivalent. But
like the Joy Theater?
yeah.
Yeah, so I went to go see, me and a buddy planned a vacation to go to New Orleans based on going to see Mark Norman in his hometown, which we thought, oh, that'd be fucking sick. But then we got there and like, well, we also need things to do. And it, like, that's become my new vein of what I enjoy. Like, if I plan a vacation, it's for one thing. We're there for 4 days, and then we'll plan everything else once we get there.
Yeah.
We did that with Denver, mostly just for weed, but then we went to the zoo, too. It was great.
My wife hates that, but I think why we travel well together is because she needs a plan and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like we can just get to a place, just go experience a city, and you just get there, figure it out, ask people, talk to people. Cause she hates that of like I can talk to a brick wall. It's like I love finding an old man in tall socks. Like we're chit chatting. It's like I'm ready for that neighborly talk.
Right.
I'm fucking here for it. I'm just like, there's a guy Dan that lives a couple tour houses down. Good ass dude.
Right.
We talk about our yards. I love that shit. Like I'm
full dad already.
I'm full dad. I'm ready for it. And it's great. I borrow his tools. We talk about things. It's just very surface level. Shirley lives next door, old lady.
Great.
Help her with a bunch of stuff, like fixed her fence the other day, help her with her
nice.
plumbing
What
sometimes.
a great guy.
Thought her name was Nancy for the first year I lived with her. Called this old lady Nancy to her face many times.
Never said a word.
And then one time, like a storm happened and a piece of our fence blew down that we share. And I was like putting it up and just like, a home improvement moment.
Wilson.
I was just like, hey, Nancy, what's going on? She's like, my name's Shirley. And this is a year after knowing her. I've called her Nancy to her face 15 times. It just felt like an old lady name to me. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
But
I've done that with one of my friend's girlfriends for like 6 months. Her name is Tesley, and I called her Tessa. Just for 6 months, and the one time
Tesley is a made-up name, so that's fine.
exactly what I said. I was drunk, it was just the worst time to bring that up to me. She goes, my name's actually Tesley. I go, well, you fucking spelled it wrong, and I finished my drink and left.
Just a real 80-year-old man response to a situation.
She was so nice, too. She didn't deserve it.
Attaboy.
Yeah, no wonder I'm single. She told everyone about it. He's like a 45-year-old drunk already, but he's 20, and no one gets it.
I think it's crazy you're 23 and already doing all this stuff, and like you're funny and doing good on the podcast, and
I appreciate you, man.
you got
It's a lot of
content
sad.
coming out. No, it's fucking just how life is.
Right.
Where it's like how every teenager feels like they were the awkward, weird kid.
Right.
Because at that moment in time in your life, you are awkward and weird for you.
Yeah. And so
And
is
it's
everyone
like
else.
you're in the fucking crazy, weird, figuring it out phase, and you're figuring stuff out. And it's cool seeing how young you are and that you're, doing it.
Yeah, my biggest help with that has been I've always been an old soul. Like, I was a parentified child by, like, 7. I was doing all the chores, doing all this. I remember my mom got bitched at by her friends because she told them that, like, at 7 or 8, they're like, oh, yeah, he does his laundry since he can see over the top loader. That was the only thing we had, and then he started doing his own laundry. And then they started shitting on her. And then she told me that. I'm like, no, their kids are all fucking bums. And to this day, their moms still do their laundry.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just been 45. I drink like a 45-year-old man in my alone, naked in my underwear.
Probably work on that part. I don't know.
But that's the fun part, and I get sweaty. I love that.
But I haven't suffered any serious consequences for it yet, so I won't stop.
And the only consequence I've had is answering the door and making some pizza guy super uncomfortable. And it was the greatest thing that's ever happened to me.
It's like that porn trope now that all the OnlyFans girls were doing of like answering the door for pizza people on like in their thong with their tits out. It's just the awful version of that. It's like, sorry, I'm making content. Do you wanna come in?
Want to come on inside?
It's just some 45-year-old guy working a second job. Just like, no, you're not gonna tip, are you?
No, I tip really well
because
I used to do all that shit, but also because I know I'm coming up in my underwear if I want to.
Yeah.
But the last time I got Domino's, they have really fallen off. But it took them an hour to bring me my pizza. And I told that to the guy when he got here. I'm like, man, I'm not mad. I know you didn't make the pizza. I know you're just driving it. There might have been a fucking train. But an hour for Domino's is absolutely bonkers.
How far away is this Domino's?
10 minutes.
Okay.
I was watching them through the little bar they send you. Like, it's in the oven. I'm like, well, it's been in the oven for 35 minutes.
Yeah.
So something's going on. They might have fucked up my pizza, but I was just sitting there yelling in my underwear, kind of half-cocked. I had just smoked a bowl, too, so he could definitely smell it.
Yeah.
He's a 45-year-old man just picking up a second job, hopefully for his kids. And I'm sitting there like, waiting an hour for Domino's is fucking bullshit, man. $20 alone for Domino's is ass. And then I got to wait an hour for this shithole pizza? Are you fucking kidding me? And he's like, your nuts hanging out. And I'm like, well, fucking deal with that later.
Yeah. Did you still tip him?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I always have to do it before they come here, so I don't end up doing something like that.
Yeah,
because I'll give you 50 cents real fast. I'm not gonna not tip
I
you, but
refuse to do the DoorDash and Uber Eats stuff, where it's like just go pick it up.
I need to start refusing to do it now.
Well, then you just look at just spending money, or it's like let me get my wife and I to eat some sandwiches.
Yeah, a sandwich would be $15.
$18 worth of sandwiches now cost $40. Yeah. Or it's like, just go get them.
Yeah, and
what are you doing that is so important that you cannot go have a sandwich?
I'm drunk in my underwear naked on the couch.
This is why DoorDash
I would be committing a crime leaving my home. It's like, then fucking buy some sandwich meat.
I know. I really need to go to the store.
Yeah, shit's not complicated,
I'm at the terrible fucking
This is, again,
points.
me being critical of having lived with a lady for too long.
No, but you're 100% right.
There's just food around. Yeah. We got chickens.
Live ones?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we have chickens.
That's what.
So we got eggs all the time.
That's awesome.
So my lazy meal, I'll eat 4 eggs. I'm just like, I don't know, I'll just have eggs. They're always there. Our last duck passed away. Rest in peace.
Oh, man.
It's a good duck. The first 3 also rest in peace.
But they were
so
shitty.
all 4 of them. No, they were good ducks too. But the male, I don't know if you've ever seen duck sex, but it is not kind.
Don't they got some corkscrew penis like a pig?
So they say. It's a little weird thing you see flop around in the water.
Right.
And so, but his move was he'd always they'd swim around we had a big kiddie pool for him. And he'd grab him by the scruff of the neck.
I was just gonna say, bite him on the back.
Put their head underwater, and then I remember my wife would go shoo them off.
Get off!
I'm just like, stop it! I'm like, they're ducks. I don't know.
This is what happens.
But I used to always bring eggs to the station, and all the duck eggs are fertilized. But if you eat a fertilized egg quick enough, or it's not incubated, you put it in the fridge. It's a little white dot that you barely see. So it's the same as eating any other egg. Mm-hmm. But there were some because they would go hide them because the ducks don't roost the same way.
Oh, okay.
And so they kind of hide them in little corner. You literally have to. It's like doing a fucking Easter egg hunt, finding duck eggs in our backyard. And,
that's great, dude. That's when you need to get a duck again for your son.
Yeah, I know. You'd always fuck up and find 6 of them together and be like, "Uh oh, how long have these been here?" and then you'd crack one to make it, and it'd have some like, just like oh, just like oh.
I just committed an abortion.
Yeah, that
Little
one's
extra protein.
Yeah, that one's for the dogs. The dogs are gonna eat that one. So literally, I got in the habit of like cracking duck eggs and like putting them into a separate little dish before I'd fry them. I'm just like, let's make sure this is a fucking mess of an abortion happening.
Do you drain?
Oh, it
the
was
dead
only when it
body
was
out?
so hot they wouldn't sit on them. It was so hot they would like incubate on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, it was a nightmare sometimes. But
Do you just pull the little dead body out and still use the egg, or is it just toast?
you just eat it.
Okay, that's what I thought. It
Well,
cooks out.
so they never get that. Just because it's hot outside, they don't get to like that level where there's actually like a little duckling in there.
Okay.
They just get to where it's like, so the yolk starts getting like absorbed, and there's like veins developing that are like going to feed a thing.
Right. So it's just
So,
the
like,
sack is
The
bigger.
infrastructure builds before the duck builds.
Okay.
But it's like you crack it and it's a fucking bloody mess. Yeah.
6 o'clock.
It's
in the
not
morning,
good.
That's a bad reaction.
No, it's not good.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm awake. Oh,
But they
man.
all died of let's see, the first one was a funny story. They were little ducklings. We keep them separated, and we had a little pond outside of our back door, and we have a little covered patio, and they were just swimming around, giving them time to swim.
Mhm.
And my wife like took a picture of them because our dog Phil never fucked with any of the. We have 2 dogs, Phil and Allie. Phil's a big dog. Allie's a 40-pound dog. And he never fucked with any of the chickens. They're all good with the chickens.
Mhm.
We can just let them out. They don't fuck with them. And so we're like, oh, Phil's good with animals. And so he was sitting there and he was like sniffing at him in the pond.
Please tell me you have a video.
I do. I Googled duck, and here's what all popped up. There's a picture of Ernest Hemingway's brother, a show flyer, a text about a roast, this.
Please show that to the camera. They gotta see what's in your camera roll.
This is what happens when I look up duck. I don't know why that's there. I don't know why this is there. This, the accommodator. I've bought probably 12 of these in my life. They're my favorite white elephant gift exchange gift of all time. It's a real fucking curveball to throw in.
Oh, another throw blanket! Yay!
The last time I did it, it was a chin dildo, and like my friend's like grandma picked it out, and you're just sitting there, just like, oh no. And I have to I'm like, no, babe, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny. She has a good attitude. This one too. That's just a good one. I'm gonna find this.
I'm gonna see what I have in my camera roll.
I'm glad y'all edit this.
It's just the first thing that popped up in my name. I'll send this to you, Blake, so you can fucking get it on. I forget that Farrah Fawcett lives in here, man. I'm surprised I don't spend more time in here, Blake.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to jerk off on it.
Well, I just, look up pictures of fake nude pictures of Farrah Fawcett, and I do that in my bedroom where
Do you
I
know
got
they
wasted
do,
socks.
Deep fake AI pornos now.
Did I know about it, Blake?
What
I'm top 3 in funding.
yeah. God bless them. Those Taylor Swift ones were hilarious.
Who wants to look
I know
that
she
up?
put like and it is like a fucked up thing. I understand for like women that have like some sort of fame of having AI images of them generated, and I'm like, that's a dark area. That's weird because it's
Right.
like you're creating art in a way, so you don't get like the legal licensing issues and
Right, but no one asked.
But
she wasn't asked.
her
to be.
getting back shots from Groucho on the trash. Who expected that? Nobody expected that.
That's the future.
She just looks like she's got vacuum seal body. Like, no part of me really wants to see her naked because it looks like Plank from Ed, Edd and Eddie. Like, she's just there.
Yeah.
And did y'all see the video of her smacking the mic stand with a different part of the mic stand?
No.
She was offbeat to her own song Like she was smacking it with the pole on beat, and it was so offbeat.
She has so much money now, she just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, and she's got all that money, and like we talked about with Miles and Jamie, she's still depressed. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm depressed with no money. That makes sense.
Yeah,
You have
she's
all the money. You can literally buy happiness at that point.
fucking billionaire.
Yeah. It's a super serum of some
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was in my favorites. I found it. I found it immediately. Can you zoom in on this?
If you want, we could send it to Blake so we can put it on.
There's Phil sniffing around these baby ducklings. And Taylor is like this dog. Do you see him? He's just like fucking around. He's just sniffing
Wagging
them.
his tail.
And they're going, this little sweet baby boy. And he's like, and she texts like the video. That video came through our group family chat with her family. And it was just like, look at sweet baby Phil with his babies. And then literally 2 minutes later, she goes, oh my fucking God. He killed one of the ducks. And it was like an NCIS crime scene. And it was the only yellow one, and so he just like grabbed it, and you could see like a water trail going off of the concrete into the grass. And he goes to the spot he normally lays at by like the air conditioning unit. And we're just like, hey, there's a reason dog toys squeak.
Oh, God.
And so he didn't like eat it. He was just fucking with it. And he killed this duck. And that was the first duck we lost. The second
You're right,
duck.
that was a funny story.
I just love that she sent it. Like, look at Phil with his babies. Oh.
Too late.
Sweet little baby boy Phil. And then the second one was we had just a male and 2 females. And the male died doing his duty.
Nice.
During the night, there was an attack. And
I thought you meant during sex.
no.
Oh.
No, he
Different
did
kind of
that.
duty.
No one asked him to do
He
that.
died in arms.
Yeah. He died at arms. He died protecting the herd. And that was actually bad too, where
All these deaths are turning out to be pretty
they
bad.
turned out to be terrible.
And I'm laughing at him.
And so so a lady duck died next of natural causes. We don't know what killed her. And so we throw her out, and then it's just one male, one female, and the male dies in an attack. We think it might have been a cat or something, because he was fucked up pretty good.
I was going to say, what is he going to do? What does a duck have in defensive skills?
They're mean. They are mean animals, and like they survive out in the wild for a reason.
That's true.
But so fire department work 24-hour shifts, and
Right.
I had a busy night, and so I slept in a little bit, and it's like 8 a.m. I text my wife, and she's like, hey, I left the dogs outside. Just let them in when you come home. And so I get home at like 8:30, and I go let the dogs out, and Phil runs right up to me, and Allie, the little pit bull, is just fucking hunched over on something. And I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? And I go out there, and she has cleaned perfectly a breast off of this duck. So he died doing his service protecting the flock, and then Allie ate half of them.
He just got perfectly filleted.
Just got perfect, and she ate literally the exact breastbone was just like picked off of this thing. She got one to the good meat first, but it was like because like the neck was all fucked up, and I don't think it was the dog. It was dead for a while because it had rigor and stuff. And then then the last one died. It was sad because the ducks were separate from the chickens for a while.
Okay. Is that like mortal enemies like the Jets?
So I think it was because the male duck was around, because we had a rooster, because we got unsexed chickens at first, and then I ended up eating the rooster with my buddy Cole, where my wife treats him like little like kids almost. We're like,
they're kids until they're food.
but like it's a rooster. And I'm talking about like we have a farm. It's like, no, we very much live in a neighborhood. We have neighbors. We knew this thing was a rooster pretty early on, but I was like, we're fucking around, having fun. And then it starts crowing. And they talk about roosters crowing at dawn.
Mm-hmm.
They crow at dawn because that's when they wake up. They also crow the rest of the day. They don't stop crowing. It's their favorite thing. They just crow. And so I was like, hey, we got to get rid of the rooster. It's like it's disrespectful to the neighbors. And she was like, she treats them like dogs. We're like, oh, and he was very pretty and like had the best personality of the thing. And you're just like, you're talking to an irrational being at this point.
I'm hungry.
And I was like, no, like okay. And I was like, hey, we got to get rid of the rooster. And she was like, went out of town for a couple of days for a business trip. And I was just like, hey, the rooster. And she was just like, just try to find him a home first. And I was like, okay. So I drive her to the airport, and then driving back from the airport, I call my buddy Cole, and I'm like,
you got a cleaver, right?
I was like, fire up the smoker. And we had like a cartoon moment. I couldn't catch the fucker because they free range in our backyard. They have a coop and a roost and all that shit. It's like safe from predators, but so he literally steps out because he had like sandals on, and he goes back to his car to get some like different shoes on because I clearly am not corralling this rooster quickly enough for him. And by the time he gets there, I get him back into like the coop and like grab the rooster. And I'm so frustrated at this point that when you whip the neck, I whip the shit out of it. And the body just flies, and it runs around for a while. I remember my dog Allie just like fucking freaked out. She was like with the dancing body, just like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Imagine the first time you would have thought you saw a zombie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame her for it. Like, this is her first time experiencing this. Like, what the fuck is going on, Dad? Mom leaves for 2 hours.
I watched you rip the head off. We were cool. I was about it.
We were good. And so we're sitting there, and then, because I had this whole plan of, like, I got a little cone where you, like, put them in it upside down, and they relax, and then you can, like, slit their throat, and it drains the blood. And so I wasn't going to do the whip. And then I fucking freak out not being able to catch it, and then end up just whipping the shit out of this thing. It was the first time I ever, like, smacked Allie is because she got the head, and, like, she can be food aggressive at times, but we've gotten out of her mostly. And she got a hold of this head, and I was like, no, that's going away. And me taking it from her was like, she was like, no.
That's my prize.
This is mine. And I'm going to fight you for it. And so that was the meanest she's ever been, was taking this chicken head away from her. And so that was the death of the chicken. Tasted great. The breasts are smaller.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was good. That was the thing. Everyone was like, oh, fresh meat, like farm raised. Is it taste better? It's like, tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
It tastes like chicken.
I fried it. It was tasted like the breading. But if you're hungry, I got a dog that never stopped barking next door. It does have a pretty coat like that rooster in case that adds something to the effect.
How dare you? Okay. I lived in China for a little bit. I don't like dog eating.
All right. You don't like it, but you can.
They had like it was like a fancy restaurant. It was like a specific thing you go to eat dog. Which I always think of it like, it's not like Red Lobster, thankfully, where you like get to pick your lobster out of the It looks like
Turns out this place was just an ASPCA at one point.
It looks like a fucking Petco, a bunch of kids petting dogs. Just like, oh, this one. Okay.
I like this one, Mommy.
Yeah.
Golden Retriever's good, but have you ever had Rottweiler?
Yeah.
More bang for your buck. Well, I think we go ahead and end this podcast on a lot of death.
Hopefully this is edited well, because we did a lot of phone googling.
Still gonna be our longest episode.
Being sad by Scooby Doo.
Yeah, Dustin
that really
Hoffman.
hurt me. Yeah.
Clearly, Dustin Hoffman.
I looked at all three of those people, not Dustin Hoffman.
I get it. Weather Underground. I didn't have a good explanation of it. I just knew they existed and did a thing. And so I didn't know. And then the last mugshot, I was like, huh. That's Dustin Hoffman.
Hot Water Burn Baby. I fucking know that guy.
Weird. All right.
Midnight Cowboy.
I've seen this fellow before.
Jimmy, if you'll go ahead and plug up your socials again and tell where people can find you and what shows you've got coming up.
It's Jimmy Nelson Comedy on most things. I am doing a show at Dallas Comedy Club this weekend, Saturday. Oh, this isn't coming out then. It's coming out July 1st.
Blake might be able to get your clip cut out so you can promote it like that. We had one for Cody on the last episode. And
Jimmy Nelson comedy on all that. No, I'm doing a show this Saturday at Dallas Comedy Club. It's actually a great lineup. I'm going to pull it up real quick. It's
was that the late night local?
Yeah, the late night local. Thomas Craig runs a show for Dallas Comedy Club, and it's called Late Night Locomotives, and he's hosting. Lawrence Rosales is on it. I'm on it. Nick Hawk, Taylor Weddington, and Cheyenne Jahan, which I always say his name's Cheyenne Jahani. I feel like if there was like a more racist time in the world, like if he was a comedy in the early 2000s, he would have been Cheyenne Jahani.
Yeah.
I thought you tried to call him.
Yeah. Well, no, it was worse. He came on the show and I fucked up so royally. Like I looked at him, I go, and we've got Cheyenne Jahani. He goes, that's not my name.
Jahani. Yeah. He's not a Persian man. He is a Indian man.
Yeah, just boofed
Hey,
it.
same shit, right? Come on now. What are we talking about here? All right. Fucking curry. I get it. All right. But no, so after that, I'm featuring for Chris Porter at the Houston Improv, July 27th to 29th. I'm headlining in Mount Enterprise, Texas, middle of nowhere, south of Tyler, July 20th. July 25th, I'll be at the Hyenas Fort Worth doing a 325 show, feature showcase.
Sweet.
And then, hey, we're going to do it. November 24th, I'll be headlining The Vin at Grapevine. This is too early. I don't even think there's anything online for that, but
who gives a shit?
Yeah,
he's headlining in Grapevine, and if you like it, fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. Go ahead and follow me at pbailey_comedy or Dingbat District Pod on Instagram. I've got one show this weekend, but we don't have to talk about that because you don't need to cut me that clip.
Talk about it. What are you doing?
I've got Jack's Comedy Club in Rockwall. Yeah, it's gonna be that one's gonna be fun. Joey Johnson headlining, Jacob Marshall, Kyle Roberts is coming back in town from Austin. Me and Brooke Jefferson. Said that completely out of order, but yeah.
So we got a response on.
We got another response. This is how we close out the
girl that he dated. They broke up. I commented an obnoxious thing, and then she responds, "Stevie appreciates the love."
Oh, the dog.
Which is the dog,
okay.
And then comments doesn't.
It would be great if Stevie was her new boyfriend. That would be so fucking funny.
That would be too good.
What should I respond? Group moment.
To close out the show. Okay, so she said Stevie loves the applause, or not the applause, the attention. You've got to speak in the third person. You got to say Jimmy blank.
At Paxton Bailey _comedy would make a great dog dad.
I'm gonna hear so much shit. I'm gonna have to mute my phone.
Oh, I did it as a different. Okay, it's fine. Okay. Thank you for having me in your.
Thank you for starting so much
in your beautiful home.
Looks like it's gonna be condemned.
It's not gonna be condemned. It's got good bones. You know.
Something's coming down at some point, but it might not be the roof. It might be something else.
Yeah, we'll
figure it out when it comes.
I love it. Thank you for having me. This is fun.
Thanks for watching another episode of the Dingbat District. Bye.